We are rolling.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Creative Businessmen. Today we have sketch comedian and artist Bob Beshere with us. Unfortunately, Daniel can't be with us today. He may be able to make it towards the end, but we'll see.
Yeah.
And how's it going, Bob?
It's pretty good.
Awesome,
Yeah.
man.
It's a nice Thursday.
Yeah.
Really enjoying the brief cooler weather before it gets, I'm sure, just unbearably hot.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like we're missing spring or something.
Yeah.
Straight
yeah.
from winter to summer.
Yeah. Right. Although, what are seasons in time anymore?
That's true. Yeah.
None of it matters.
Yeah. After this past year.
Yeah. It's all just a blur.
Yeah,
you know.
So you just recently did a improv show.
Yeah.
And how'd it go?
Oh man, it felt amazing because it had been like 6 or 7 months since I had been on stage. We did one other improv show. We've done a couple at the Idiot Box during the pandemic, like with a 10-person crowd, and
Yeah.
the performers are all masked up and all of that. And we've all basically potted together this whole time anyway.
Right.
So it's like, well, yeah, let's invite some strangers into the mix.
Yeah.
But we did those, and it had been, like I said, 6 or 7 months since I had set foot on a stage to perform.
Wow.
And that rush it was like 0 to 60.
Yeah.
Adrenaline, same kind of like pre-show nerves. It's like everything was right where I left it. Like
Yeah.
all my pre-show rituals, everything was just like right there.
Well, you've been doing it for a long time, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been with the Idiot Box. September this year will be 17 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I moved here in 04 and in like August of 04, and I started taking classes at the Idiot Box and kind of joined the troupe. Yeah, like
How
September.
old were you then?
I was 23.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, I turned 40 in a month.
Yeah. Well, I just turned 40. Well, this past year, I'll be 41 in 2 months.
Yeah, my goal is to look like that in a month, but I don't
you
know
look
if I'll
great,
get
man.
there. I don't know if I'll get there.
No, that's fine.
Nah,
I think I saw one of your last shows
Oh, yeah?
before the pandemic because you opened for Shane Moss
yes,
at the Idiot Box.
Yeah. I did a few sketches from my solo show.
Yeah, that's cool.
That show was fun. Like Shane Moss, Mike Kaplan, those guys.
Yeah.
I love it when they come through. Like he's come through a bunch, and he loves us, we love him.
Nice.
And it's been a really cool relationship, and that's been, I mean, performing's like my favorite thing to do. Period.
Right. Yeah. Well, you're a performer.
Yeah, exactly. Makes sense. But just being around like the comedy culture,
Right. Yeah.
is pretty, and just getting to see like these acts from New York, LA, Chicago, wherever,
Yeah.
come through for festivals or everything, and meet them, talk shop, don't talk shop, because sometimes that's even better, is when you just engage them as just like, oh yeah, they're a regular person too.
Right, yeah.
Even though they've recorded a Comedy Central special,
Just appear. So, yeah.
Right.
That's cool. I started in acting.
Yeah.
And I've been doing that for, I guess, 8 or 9 years. But
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy comedy. I started doing comedy about 1.5 years
Yeah.
or so ago. And
Yeah, you had kind of like just gotten into it at the Idiot Box before everything was like.
I know. And it seems like the worst time, but actually I think it's been a really good thing for me because, they still did the open mics just for a limited number of people for the whole year.
And outside when they could.
And it was all quarantined.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like all masked and distanced and everything.
Yeah.
And we were careful, but it was really tough. It's hard to do stand-up in front of 8 people that are all comics.
Right.
And so it was really, I think it was really good for me to try to work those muscles.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot over the past year or so.
Yeah, and between like Jenny, Steve, and Eric there as just like people, like they're the best at guiding people who are just getting into it.
Sure.
And providing really valuable feedback.
Yeah.
It's such a great environment there, like to do comedy there. Period.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah. I was shocked because the first mic I went to, there was over 30 comics there.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, there's a big community here for comedy.
And that was something, I've been friends with Jenny and Steve pretty much as long as I've been a part of the Idiot Box. I just clicked with that group pretty quickly. And you know, their whole thing is, you know, comedy's hard to make money in, right? And like, you know, that is obviously a goal. You want to be financially successful, of course, you know, like when you run a business, but they're both so interested in making like just a really good, strong community here, because that's how you get people coming back. And then that's how you get people coming from 30, 40, 50 miles away to do a mic, you know, like to do 5 minutes or whatever, right? Because they're like, oh, that room is one of the best rooms. Let's go. You know?
Yeah, they could have easily just shut it down for the year,
easily,
and probably saved money.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
They only kept it open for the comics.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm extremely grateful. But
yeah.
It's kind of like the Comic Dimension. That's how I met you anyway.
Yeah.
Me and Chris own the Comic Dimension. It's really turned into mostly just a tabletop gaming store.
I know. Every time I like see a Facebook post, it's just like, you know, Chris is like, and now we have this new amazing like dungeon that you can play games in. It's like designed and everything. And I was like, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Again, just you know, creating communities again. Yeah,
and that business, you know, for us is not really. I mean, for me, especially for me as a business guy. Yeah. It's not like a good business. Right. It's really just like a community charity.
Right.
And that's why we've kept it going. And we've been open for almost 6 years now.
I know that. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, I think I first set foot in there in like 2015.
Right. Yeah. And but it is such a community-based business that we just love it. And Chris really loves it. He lives that world. And it, you know, from a business perspective, it doesn't really make sense to keep that business open.
Right.
But just based on what it does and the people that love it, that's what's worth it, you know.
Well, and I mean, I know you do some like serious entrepreneur work. Yeah. And I know that you're a guy who's got a lot of irons in the fire, you know. Right, yeah. And I've always wondered about that, like you let some irons that you have, maybe they're not super hot, right? Yeah. But you still keep them in the fire because they provide something for the community, or you know, they bolster other things that you're doing.
Or sometimes you keep a business open because it employs people, and those people rely on that business. Right. And if it's, as long as it's not, you know, as long as it's self-sufficient and it's not hurting you financially, it's worth. You may as well just keep it open.
Yeah. For sure.
But I've honestly scaled way back on businesses. I've sold most of my companies and most of my interest in other companies, so I can focus more on art.
Nice.
And so I still do a lot of consulting. That's my biggest business focus, is just business consulting and helping other people get into business and operate their business and set up their margins and ordering and all that kind of stuff. But all my other stuff, I've pretty much sold it, and now I'm focused on acting and comedy and writing. Yeah. You know, I've always been an artist, you know, growing up, even as a kid, but I was poor. So I always had to survive, and I needed money. Right. And I've always had a business mind anyway as well, and so I can kind of do both. Yeah. But I had you know, a lot of success in business, and so I kind of focused on that for a long time, and then I went through a bunch of losses between 2013 through 16, and I even lost my leg in 13.
Right.
And that's about when I got into acting in 2013, and I felt like I neglected that creative side. Right. And now I'm happy I did it.
Yeah. I mean, and it's something that I think is in everybody, like some kind of creative something. And if you don't nurture it, it turns into something else. Like, it doesn't just go away, right? It's got to get out there.
I think that's where a lot of people are unhappy.
Yeah, me too.
Is because they're doing stuff, they're doing pointless things.
Yeah. For them.
Yes, yeah.
Like, maybe they're providing a service for someone else.
Right. Everything that people do is important. And, and I feel like, you know, we've talked about it on the show before. I think that's part of the problem with our construct of our society, is that you have janitors that they don't make enough money to feed themselves, which is a problem. You want everybody in society to be healthy and capable. So we need to change the construct. We needed to change the value of our currency and things like that to allow if you do have to do a terrible job, at least you're getting sufficiently paid for it.
Right. And at least there's some trade-off,
Right, yeah.
like where, you think about like, what was it, like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like all the things you need, like if one of your needs is like kind of depleted by something, it needs to make it up somewhere else,
Right,
for you to remain intact as a human
and to feel fulfilled. Yeah.
And sometimes that takes like searching, it takes, like you said, sometimes taking time off to like look into one of those fields that maybe you've neglected for a long time.
Well, I know personally, coming from a poor upbringing, poor background, a lot of people don't have that option. It's like you just have to take the first thing that's available so you can make your way or pay your bills and survive.
Right.
And that's, a lot of people are just based on survival. The biggest problem, we just base our currency on the wrong stuff. We base 0% of our currency's value on human beings, and our society is human beings.
Right.
Like
that's what it's made up of.
The biggest value in our currency should be based on the value of a person's basic needs.
Yeah. Or at least that should be the baseline, right? Like that should be like it should never go below that.
Exactly.
Ever.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I mean, like,
and it would be a better society. We'd all do better.
Right. And like things don't remain, like, even if let's say tomorrow we woke up and there's a universal basic income and everybody has their basic needs met. So everybody then has the choice. Okay, do I still work like an 80-hour-a-week job because that fulfills me?
Right.
Or I can stop that job and not make anywhere near as much money, but have all my basic needs met so I can focus on, something that I'm passionate about. Yeah. And it's like, it won't always be that ideal or that good because everything goes through economic downtimes, hardships, and but I feel like if everybody had those basic needs met and everybody was in some way, shape, or form following some kind of passion,
right,
we would at least be able to rally more when things go belly up,
Well, I've thought about this a lot, and we've talked about it a lot on the show, but I like Andrew Yang. He's the guy that has really been pushing the universal basic income thing. I don't think with our current economic system that works because you have to have incentives. So you still need janitors and you still need people that do undesirable jobs.
Sure.
But if you have someone that's in that position and they're making a really solid income and they can have a nice home to live in, they have a vehicle, they have, if they want to have education, they can get education. Education should be free.
Yeah.
And they have all their basic needs, and not just barely. Like they have a decent life.
Right.
Like they're happy with their life. I think in that situation, you would have a lot more people that would actually say, okay, I'm doing well. I have a good life, but I do have these other interests, and now maybe I'll explore these other interests too while I'm doing this other thing because I can afford to. Because it's not, because most people they work, and then they eat, and they go to sleep, and they go back to work, and that's
repeat
all they do. Yeah.
For 30, 40 years.
Yeah,
and
their whole life just slips by.
Yeah, your whole adult life is just like that. And I mean, that's something that definitely fueled my decision about like 6 months ago to pivot into what I'm doing now, which was scary. Like, because what happened was in July, I was laid off from the company I was working for. I was doing like ad copywriting and editing for an ad agency. And, economic hard times because of the pandemic. They had to eliminate my position. It was one of those clean break kind of things. It's like, I get it. This sucks, but I get it. And I was kind of forced to jump in the deep end without a life preserver, because it's like, all right. And I had never been unemployed. I had been, let go from other jobs before for whatever reason, this, that, or the other. I've left jobs before for whatever reason, but I've never not had something kind of like already ready to go. Yeah. And this time I had nothing because it's the middle of a pandemic. Like I didn't have options, I was like, this is my job. This is my source of income. That's it, and, a lot of the creative pursuits, especially in performing, weren't available either. So I was like, okay, this is gut check time. This is the raw stuff. This is when it's really like, okay, what are you actually made of? You know.
Yeah.
And I had like been saving for a while, so financially I was okay. You know, I could float for a while, and I started looking for. I just like automatically started looking for more full-time gigs, 9-to-5 type jobs, and like, you know, there's a decent amount of jobs in that category in this area. Sure. Not a lot though, because it's not New York. You know, it's like there isn't an ad agency every other block, like it is on, you know, Wall Street or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And so. You know, not a lot of options. And I got a few nibbles, but nothing really struck. But all the while, I was just doing like these little contract gigs, you know, like, you know, this like 5-hour project here, this 10-hour project here. This one company needs one line written for this one social media post, and they're going to pay you $50. I was like, all right. Yeah, I mean, $50. Why not? Yeah, I can do that. And I started like collecting those things, and I sort of inadvertently started building like a creative network for myself of like, you know, professional contacts.
Yeah. So you're like a freelancer now.
Yeah. And then I was like, you know, I think I can make this work. Yeah. I got to rearrange my budget. I got to, you know, I got to get in my Excel spreadsheets, you know, and like really figure things out. But I think I can make this work.
And you named the price too.
Exactly.
Yeah, you make more money in the long run.
Yeah. I got like one of my first big paychecks for a freelancing gig just last week, and it was one of these like singularly largest paychecks I've ever received.
Nice. And
it's not all about money, I know that, but like just seeing that and like getting a little bit of like, okay, here's some value. You know, like it's monetary, so it's that kind of value, but it still felt good to like get that.
Well, in our social construct, it is all about money.
It is, yeah.
Survival.
I mean, it's directly connected to those means, those needs. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, and with art, you know, I feel like with art, it's not, your focus shouldn't be money. It should be creating good art. Yeah, and if it's good enough, there'll be money as a side effect.
Really, it is, and it's one of the only now, like, you know, the the financial part of the arts industries are pretty huge. Hollywood, you know, like you know, like Christie's and Sotheby's in New York for auctions. You know, like obviously there is a lot of money in art, but
Christie's, that's where Beeple just sold that NFT piece for $65 million.
Like, I saw the other day that someone bought the NFT for, do you remember the meme, the overly attached girlfriend meme? The girl with like the big eyes with the Justin Bieber thing. It was a meme like 2011, 2012. Anyway, it was kind of like a viral meme.
Just a common, it's just...
Yeah, and she was able to like launch a content creator career on YouTube, you know, and she got a lot of followers and everything, and you know, she hit a point where she's like, I'm done. And I don't blame her at all. But someone bought the NFT for that original video that went viral, and it's like, that is such a, like, I had to really like look into NFTs and research them to be like, what's going on? It's like all of a sudden this digital world starts having this intrinsic capital worth.
Yeah.
And
I created a piece of NFT art.
You did?
Yeah.
Nice.
But I think what that is, with blockchain in general. Yeah. I think that is our society realizing that it is a social construct. It's not real. All this stuff is worth. All the stuff, anything that has value is valuable because we say it's valuable.
We put value on it.
Yeah. So like you have Bitcoin, which is just data.
Yeah.
And now it's worth $60-some thousand a piece.
Oh my God.
But it's just data.
Right.
And it's only worth that because we all agree that it's worth that.
Right.
And I think that's part of the solution in the future of the problems with our currency and our social construct. We could actually create cryptocurrencies for things like medical and education and all these things, and that could be part of our structure in society. And then that fills in the gaps.
Right. Like kind of like every person gets like X amount of this type of thing for this thing, for education.
Well, and maybe you do it through you have an incentive program to encourage people to not just do nothing. So, right. So like if you make under maybe you make under $100,000 a year. We just all agree as a society that you get certain incentives.
Right. And those valuations are already in place.
Right.
Even though we're not thinking about it in that way.
Yeah.
Like there already is a high value, like you were mentioning earlier, like with custodial, like the custodial industry.
Yeah.
Like there's, I mean, maybe we don't talk about it a lot, but like all of us, when push comes to shove, it's like, hey, do you want there to be like an industry of people who clean up after everyone else? It's like, yes, please. I want that.
Right, yeah.
I want that in society.
Do you want someone to pick up your trash every week?
Yes, please. Yeah. And it's like, okay, well, so you really value that because you don't want to do it yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so that's, you're getting time. You're getting, just the nice,
we all benefit from it.
We all benefit from it.
Yeah.
So that's pretty valuable,
Yes.
and like, yeah, we should adjust things to match that. I agree. Yeah.
And you don't have to take away from other people to do it either.
No.
We just change the value of the currency.
That's my thing with so many opinions about social things, whatever they are,
Right. Yeah.
like it's like giving people more rights or, access to things that they didn't have access to before for whatever reason.
Right.
Like that's never subtractive. It never takes away from anybody else.
No,
it only adds. It only makes it better.
Well, currently it can take away because it's done through taxes, and there's only a certain amount of money, and none of that money is, none of the value of our currency is based on people.
Right.
It's all based on businesses and GDP and,
Yep.
and banks, but none of it is based on what it or at least a huge portion of it should be based on the needs of the people.
Yeah.
And you'd have way more money. We would
Yeah.
have almost infinite amounts of money.
And like probably next to no burnout. You
Right,
know,
yeah.
like
Well, it would be sustainable. Right
Yeah.
now, our current monetary system is unsustainable.
right.
Inflation is increasing every year. It's constantly dropping in value, 3 to 4% a year.
Yeah.
And then now, after the pandemic, it's going to drop even more.
Yeah.
Because we spent a few $1 trillion on the pandemic. So
Yeah.
it's just a broken system.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. And we need to either change the way we value our fiat currency or just add in other currencies to offset the
Right.
issue.
And it's a society that like thrives in a, malevolent sort of way
Right, yeah.
on debt, on and a minus sign in front of your
big
number,
minus
a
sign.
big minus for like individual
Yeah.
and obviously for the country.
Right,
But like,
yeah.
like it's like that's almost more like how people define your worth is like, what
Right.
do you owe?
Yeah.
And then that just puts people in a position of like, I'm lower than. And like whenever any human being feels that they like the hierarchy is so obvious to them and they're down here and
Yeah.
the other ones are up here, like that just is another unsustainable thing.
Right,
Because
yeah.
human beings, like even if you don't care that much about that kind of thing, it still feels bad.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean, every role in society is important.
yeah.
And some are less glamorous than others, but it doesn't mean they're less important.
No. Right. Right.
I mean, you could have great doctors and have no garbage pickup, and we'd have huge problems.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like good thing there are good doctors from the disease you get every week because
Right,
there's
yeah.
no public sanitation.
Exactly, yeah.
It's like, oh, the gangrene is back. Why? Huh?
Everybody has Ebola this week.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like good thing I can just go get the super pill.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's silly. It's silly. And that's another reason why I like reading and like listening to like a lot of Andrew Yang stuff, because so much of it just is kind of like, at least to me, kind of has big, well, no duh energy.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that just makes sense.
Well, he's an entrepreneur too, which
Yeah.
is good, I think.
And he gets it because like he's worked in the business of people his whole life.
Right.
He knows, because that's, I mean, the business of business is people, right? Like
Yeah.
it really is.
That's it, yeah.
And it's
Well, everything's people.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's very true. But
Yeah, I think I do think things are getting better because of we're becoming more connected, so empathy's increasing, and I think eventually we'll realize that we're all the same thing. Like
Yeah.
we're all part of this. All life on this planet is really one organism.
Yeah.
It's just not connected very well. So, but I think through the internet and through connectivity with technology, the more we get connected, the better we are towards each other, and the more understanding we are towards each other. So,
And at the very least, the more exposed we are to different things.
well, it's hard to lie to people today too.
Yeah.
Because
So much so that like we've gone beyond truth and lies. Like we're in this space of like, I don't know what this is.
well, we're overloaded with information right
Yeah.
now. It's
It's
I
too much.
think we're adjusting. Like, how do I deal with all of this information?
Yeah.
What's reliable? What's false? You know,
Right.
where's the truth? But I think we're adjusting pretty quickly, and I think younger generations are really adjusting to it well because it's their life.
Well, yeah, they grow up with
Yeah.
it. They're bombarded with it from day one.
Yeah.
And so it's just like absorbed into their DNA. It's like
Right, yeah.
something that they're just wired for.
Yeah, for sure.
And like when I was working at the ad agency, you know, like we were saying, I'm almost 40, so elder millennial right here. And at the ad agency though, I worked with, because that really is a young person's game.
Yeah.
Like, and it's a big revolving door to industry for young people to like, cut their teeth on something in an agency and then go work for a brand. Get brought in house by, like Invista or Stainmaster or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, we like your work. Come work for us. And I worked with a lot of, like Gen Z folks, like a lot of, 20 somethings that were navigating the things that I navigated a decade and a half ago. But, I still remember those feelings of like being kind of like fresh off the boat, out of college, out of some graduate program or whatever. And now it's like, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
Hit the ground running. But so many, I was always impressed with so many of their ability to just absorb information and be able to like curate that information live. Like I'm still so old school. It's like I can absorb all the information, but then I got to write it down. I got to organize it. I got to like objectify it somehow. But they're doing all this in their heads because they've just been
They're so
wired
exposed
like
to
that.
it.
Yeah. To just be bombarded with information and have to be able to like filter live.
Right. Yeah.
Like not unlike a search algorithm, kind of. know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, today you can learn so much on your own. So if you're studying something, you have access to all this other data
Right.
on that topic.
Right.
I mean, we didn't have that.
No.
Yeah.
No. I was like, I hope the campus library has it. Has
Right.
that book, that one book I need.
Yeah. Or you have to find a book
Yeah,
on something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if it doesn't, well.
And you have to read the whole book. You can't.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't just put in a word.
Right. Yeah.
Search for a specific.
Yeah, you can't
word,
get a PDF of the book and then just search for.
like a topic or
Yeah.
It's just so much easier now.
Right. Search for defenestration of Prague. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
But I think the next 10, 20 years are going to be shocking technologically. I think a lot of these problems will be solved because we won't have a choice. It'll just be right in our face.
Yeah.
And
especially with how thinking about it like back into like entertainment and like the content that's generated from arts and entertainment, like just thinking about right now how we consume like TV and movies is so like textbook unhealthy.
Right. Yeah.
The binging, there's like, that's one of the things. So like my background's in linguistics.
Okay.
And one of,
That's why you like Mike Kaplan so much.
yes. Oh yeah.
His wordplay is
the
amazing.
wordplay is just
Incredible. Yeah.
It's following him on social media. It's a treat. I highly recommend everyone do it.
Yeah.
That's MYQ Kaplan. But like all of these ways that we consume television and film, we call it binging, and it's like it's kind of cute when you describe, oh yeah, I binged a show. It's like, oh cool, what'd you think? Like it's a positive thing, but like the word binge has so many negative connotations, way more negative than it does positive.
Sure, yeah.
And like even and like, say like, you're thinking about like binging alcohol, right?
Right.
If you take alcohol and put it next to like TV, they're both they're very different things substantively.
Too much of them, either one is not good for you.
Correct. Yeah, but there are things that it's very easy to like have a lot of before you recognize that you've had a lot of it. That you've had way too much, you know. And so that is and it's normal.
Right.
Like it is normalized now for you to have like 3 or 4 streaming services that you subscribe to.
Sure, yeah.
And you're like, Friday night's binge night. You know.
Yeah.
For like 4 or 5 hours straight. It's like
I don't do that very often. I'm just too busy. Because usually, you know, during the day I'm working on a lot of business related stuff, and then in the evenings, and I have a family, so I have a wife and a daughter, so I try to spend, you know, several hours with them in the evening, and then after that, I'll probably have a mic or something like an open mic.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'll write.
Yeah.
You know, I'll write and do work on art stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of my creative stuff's at night, and I usually sleep 6 hours, so I'm up till 2 a.m.
Right, and then you pop up at 8 and, go at it again. Yeah,
but I'm doing stuff I enjoy, which is good. But I don't binge many. There's a few shows that I'll binge occasionally.
Yeah.
And I'll just binge them to get them out of the way over the weekend maybe or something.
Right.
But you know, I don't think we'll ever see any TV series that are as big as they used to be back when we were kids, because there's so many different networks now. There's so many different streaming services,
and it's so I use the word easy. It is not easy to make a TV show. It's actually
very difficult.
Kind of in the middle of writing one right now, and it's not easy. Yeah. But you know, it's the way things are designed now, the way that people consume things now, the means of production is we got to spit things out.
Right.
We need a new thing every week almost. Like drop a new thing. Like
you could never consume all the content.
Right. At the end of every month, like a lot of people actively look forward to the like report from Netflix of like what's coming, what's going. You know, like it's like, all right, let's gear it up. And people will plan their month around those things.
Sure.
It's like it's like, oh, all of Bridgerton season 2 is dropping. Well, I got to set aside a week, you know, and it's become such a part of. So like it's still avoidable, like you said. You're like I got to stay away from it. And I've had to do that a little bit too since I've started freelancing, because like the temptation is much easier. Just be like, I could take a few hours off if I want.
People in the future may get paid for consuming content.
I mean, they already do.
That's true.
Yeah, like that's a job to be like a content tester. You know, like
because eventually technology will do all of our stuff. For us. You know?
Yeah.
It'll all be AI.
Yeah. And that's
automated.
Man, the you know, before of course the robots rise up, like the art of that time period is going to be amazing. Well, of course, before the robots rise up.
I think the robots are us.
Yeah.
I think we are the robots, because it's our technology. It's, you know, we don't know what we're doing. We just do what we do. We create technology. We're a collective mind, and it's
like, let's see what this does.
We just keep making this stuff, and we don't really know what it is or why we do it, but we just have this burning desire to keep creating technology and keep advancing. And you know, I think we'll probably start merging with the technology, and it's just part of our evolution, you know.
Yeah, and
it's all nature, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think a lot about like the space race in the 50s and 60s as like a real turning point for how, obviously for exploration, but you know, a real turning point for how technology is destined to be not just a part of our lives, but most of our lives.
We probably will be technology.
And I think another thing that had happened is that, you know, we get up in space, we get on the moon, and we're like, man, we could probably, and we could probably like get out of this galaxy at some point, see other ways. And like, yeah, sure. But like, that's a lot further away, right? And so what I think happened was we were like, but all of this amazing technology that we created to get us further out there, let's see what it does when we use it to like go inward, to like, what can we do with this place we are now?
Right.
Oh man, you know.
Yeah.
We're like going more micro now, like micro technological,
like quantum technology.
Yeah, and getting down to like, we're going like almost like in the other direction, you know.
Right.
And we just keep making things smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until, you know, we have chips that are, you can't even see them with the naked eye, you know, like, but they're supercomputers, you know, like that's insane.
And I think eventually we'll probably be a part of that.
Yeah.
Like it'll be a part of us. And then, you know, once you're a conscious being that's not limited by biological needs and fragility, then we could easily expand out almost infinitely.
Yeah. I mean, I usually do that when I binge food.
Expand out infinitely.
Yeah. I'm a gas giant. You know, I'm a Jupiter.
There you go. Well, you're keeping it together. So
I'm trying. I'm trying, man. It's been a weird. Obviously, like this goes without saying, it's been a weird year.
Yeah, some people have used the time to really get in shape and turn things around. Some people just let it all go.
Man. And it's like completely. It doesn't matter if you're like, you know, like if you were like single during the pandemic or you had a family during the like it doesn't matter. Like different people just went in different directions with it. I like inadvertently lost a lot of weight. Once I started to, I was like, oh, let me like actually upkeep this. But I had stopped drinking. Like, you know, like because like I'm not going to a bar.
Yeah, all your social stuff's gone. So
yeah. And most of my drinking I would do in the comedy club, you know, like with comedians and stuff like that. And there were like my usual week before the pandemic, I was like 3 or 4 nights a week were taken up by comedy something, you know, whether it's a show, a practice, a meeting, whatever, you know, and usually drinking's involved because that's just, you know, it's a very social thing as well. And that just dried right up. And like, it really makes you realize how many calories are in alcohol.
Right.
And you don't even think about it because it's a liquid, you know?
Yeah.
So that happened and that was cool. I was like, oh, sweet. I'm less people. That's always
probably felt better too, right?
Yeah. And especially as I'm knocking on 40's door. Like the other night in the show, in the improv show, I with Jenny Stencil, like we were doing a really like we're doing an improv game that's very like energetic, like uses a lot of big actions, you know, and we ended up doing the Running Man dance together, and I got really into it because A, it's the Running Man, and B, I had not been on stage, and
you're excited.
Yeah, and I'm an attention-seeking extrovert, so like I need gimme, you know. Yes, laugh at me, build me up, empty the void inside. But like I did one of the like, you know, the pumps, and I jacked my shoulder up so bad from doing just a dance move and poorly. Like I'm not dancing's one of my gaps, let's just say. And I woke up, that was Saturday night. I woke up Sunday and was fine. Then I woke up Monday and I was like, what is that? You know, it felt like there was just like this metal rod from like the top of my neck down to like my butt, basically.
Wow.
And it was just like in there and not moving. And any way I turned, I could just feel it. And I was like, what is going on? And it took me forever to be like, I was like retracing my steps. I was like, I wasn't hitting the gym. I didn't like, you know, pull it.
Yeah.
Working out. You know, you're right. The elliptical is all I can do. The rest hurts. So I was like, and then it dawned on me. I was like, oh, right. I did 30 seconds of a novelty dance move in an improv show, and I'm almost 40.
And not warmed up.
Right. Yeah. That's what this is. And I was just like, back before the pandemic when I was a lot heavier, but I was doing improv multiple times a week, doing those big games, doing those big actions and movements. Like I would never injure myself, even though like my weight and my self was much more prone to be injured by stuff like that. It was just the regularity of it.
You were just trained for it, though.
Yeah. My body on Saturday was like, you have not done this in a minute, sir.
Yeah.
Don't think just because you're skinnier now, you're...
How is it now? Is it better?
Yeah, it's a lot better.
That's good.
A lot better. At first, I was like, is this just like a really late hangover side effect? Because I got my second dose of the vaccine last week, like 2 weeks ago. So I was like, but like I there's nothing about it like sneaking up on you 2 weeks later, and it's like,
right,
oh, here's a side. But it was like that area, you know, and it felt like that soreness and
probably had an inflamed muscle, it pinched a nerve or something.
Yeah. I've done it before, and I also think like I injured the muscle like under this shoulder, my right shoulder blade, like a long time ago, and it just never healed properly because every once in a while I'll get all, you know, big in my britches and be like, I'm gonna like build up to do 100 push-ups, you know, like in a row. I'm just gonna like build up to that point, and I'll start going and everything like that. And then there'll some days where I'll do it and I'll be like, I don't need to stretch. I've been doing this for a month now, and
you need to stretch.
Yeah. Especially when you're doing like push-ups. To me, I love doing push-ups. Because I did P90X a bunch of years ago, and like I just really got into like upper arm stuff. Yeah. Like not like going to the gym. Not like no, I just mean like, you know, like free weights in my house.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And like those kind of exercises felt good. Like, you know, God, strength training feels so good. Everyone's like, man, cardio feels so good afterwards. I'm like, have you tried strength training?
Strength training
and the endorphins afterwards? Like, there's nothing like your whole body feels like it's got a drug going through it.
I hate cardio. It's boring.
Man,
I try to hike.
Yeah, right. Like at least with cardio, you can like be like, you can literally do it anywhere.
Yeah.
You know,
hiking's awesome. I love that.
Hiking's amazing.
I love being in nature, but
this area
hate being on a treadmill.
See, I hate the treadmill. I like the elliptical. The elliptical works for me.
One.
Yeah, but now granted, my elliptical, the elliptical that I use in the like little gym at my apartment complex, like is in front of like a big garage door like that, and it looks out on like the city and everything, and it's really pretty.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
So they've got like a nice backdrop.
A good view makes it a lot better.
Yeah, something to focus on. So you're not
just in the gym, like staring at these stupid TVs, and you're like, oh, it's so miserable.
Moving in place. Yeah. You know, yeah. So yeah, like I do love getting into like upper arm stuff, but like every once in a while I'll get to a point where this spot will start to like really.
Yeah.
And I think it's at the point where I'm like, I should go like get it looked at, you know.
Probably
get an X-ray, just see if there's something in there. Like if there's like, if I heard it a long time ago and there's like scar tissue that just never, you know.
Yeah.
Did.
Go to an orthopedic surgeon or something.
Yeah.
I've got my left scapula is a little tweaked from my accident, my motorcycle accident.
Right.
And it's never been the same since. I mean, it's not a problem, but I think I stretched my brachial plexus.
Right.
And so it had the same effect as if you completely detached your rotator cuff. But it healed pretty quick, which was great. But some of it never really came back. So like I've got like a dead spot in my trap right there. Ugh. And when I'm doing certain movements, it'll be uncomfortable. Yeah. But it's not a big deal. Yeah, like every once in a while, like I'll be going on like a down push and I'll feel it and it's like, hey, ooh, you know, like and it's not like super painful. It's more dull, you know. It's kind of just like hey, I'm here. Just something's off.
Yeah. You might want to take a look at those.
Some of that's just age too. Like some things just hurt. You know, like
a lot of my friends gave me some crap because I was talking about it. And I was like, I was trying to rack my brain, trying to figure out what I could have done over the past like 48, 72 hours. And they're like, did you forget that you're 39?
Yeah, you got up.
Yeah. You exist. Yeah. You woke up one day. Yeah. That's what you did to yourself.
Yeah, just enjoy that pain because it means you're still alive.
Yeah. You dummy. You should have stayed unconscious. What are you thinking?
Yeah.
I was Snapchatting with my friend the other day, and she just sent me a snap of herself just being like, why am I even conscious? I was like, yeah, unconscious is the way to be. I don't know what all this like being awake stuff is for. Cannot recommend it.
That's funny.
Although I had the wildest dreams during pandemic. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know. Like my subconscious brain didn't know what to do.
That's cool.
Because I've got some like chronic anxiety. Like, you know, it's something I've had my whole life that I've just dealt with in different ways. You know,
I have high anxiety too, but I just for me I use it as like it's like it drives me.
Almost like an energy source.
Yes.
Yeah. Because if you don't,
I harness it.
And if you don't, it's still an energy source, and it starts to become a bad energy source. Yeah. Like you can start spiraling pretty easily. Yeah. So you got to stay on top of it. And like some you know, Now I'm treating it with medication and therapy, and it's going great. Other times I've treated it with not so great things.
Yeah.
And,
Fetal positions.
right. But yeah. Fetal positions, choices. We'll just say choices. Yeah. You make decisions that
You go back to the binge thing.
Yeah. And there are so many things you can bench. Neil, I don't know if you knew that. You could binge anything.
Sure.
If you just have imagination. Anything's bingeable.
Well, if you're an artist, you have an imagination.
Oh, yeah. Including people.
Yeah.
Back to people.
Right, yeah.
You can burn through people pretty quick.
Sure.
So, choices.
Yeah.
It's all about actionable items. Making sure they're not, so self-destructive.
Right, yeah.
But
so do you have lucid dreams or?
I used to. There was a period of my life, and it's wild. Like I can remember a lot of things going on in my life at that time, and one of those things where it's just like it just got stamped into my memory for some reason. I remember it was 2012. I remember I was living in this like 2-story kind of like townhome place, like over in Fisher Park, and I like one night I was having a dream, and I can't remember the dream at this point. It's years ago, but like I remember being like waking up in the dream, so to speak. Yeah. And I remember like it felt like I had my conscious mind, all the faculties of my conscious mind, where I could like make connections and all the synapses were firing, but I was definitely still asleep and in a dream. And I could recognize that it was a dream. So I was like, this is unfamiliar. I know this is not real.
Right.
And it only felt like it was for a few minutes. It could have been all night. Who knows?
Right. Yeah.
Because time gets so screwy in dreamland. But I remember being in control. Yeah. Like I was like, it was almost like a video game where it's like, the me in the dream was like, all right, what do you want me to do? All right, walk over there. All right. And I felt like I was almost like puppeteering myself.
It's like you're Neo in the Matrix.
Honestly, yeah. That's kind of, and there was like a 2 or 3 week period there where like almost every night it would be a different kind of lucid dream, and then it went away. Like
weird.
And I can't for the life of me think of anything that was going on in my life then that could have, like, there wasn't like a big traumatic event that I was, repressing
taking
or
any
something.
supplements or anything?
No, I was, and in fact, that was a pretty healthy time. Like I was.
That may have been it.
Yeah, I was pretty trim at that point. I was in a healthy relationship. Like I had a good job. Talking about all those needs. So many of those needs were met.
Right. Yeah.
And I was like kind of coasting. I was doing all right.
For some reason, I've always had lucid dreams since
really?
I was a kid. Yeah.
Wow.
Like very vivid, very lucid. Like you said, like you're fully conscious, but you're in a dream. Yeah. And when I was really young, I didn't realize it was in a dream. It just seemed like a different reality almost. But as I got older, I started to realize like, oh, this is a dream. I can actually manipulate it.
I can manipulate things.
Control it. And it's cool, man. Like it's a really, and I don't do it every night, but I still have lucid dreams pretty often.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah. If someone could extract and harness lucid dreaming, drugs would go away. We wouldn't need them.
There's a way.
It's a trip.
There's a way you can train yourself to do it.
Oh yeah.
I've seen people talk about it and read some things about it, but I think there's like some meditative ways to meditate yourself to sleep.
Right.
And then
that puts you in that like more liminal space.
Right.
Where because you were kind of you at the moment you fell unconscious, you were already in
like a dream
subconscious state.
Right.
So maybe like you keep the party going.
Exactly. Although I think most of your lucid dreams happen later in the morning. So like
interesting.
Because your REM sleep is usually right after you go to sleep. Well, like maybe an hour or so after you go to sleep. For a few hours, and then I think your lucid dreaming would start happening maybe like 3 or 4 in the morning.
Interesting.
Before,
like once you're already in a deep rhythm.
Right.
Yeah. You're way down there.
Well, you're coming back up, I think.
Oh.
Maybe.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's like it's like you are almost like being exposed to the physical world again.
Right. Yeah.
Like it's coming back.
Yeah. And I think the reason you forget your dreams is you're not using the long-term memory part of your brain.
Yeah, it doesn't store it.
Yeah, but if you wake up and you immediately start to talk about it and recall it, you'll remember it.
Yeah, you'll imprint it.
Yeah.
I try to do that whenever I have a weird ass dream. you know, like I'm just like, I got to write this down. I got to like remember this because
the first screenplay I wrote was from a lucid dream.
Oh, cool.
And I got up at like, it was probably 3:30 or 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've got to write this down. I wrote down like 6 pages of notes.
Yeah.
And it was,
oh man, those are like I love those moments as just as a writer because like inspiration, it does not care what your schedule is.
Right.
It's gonna hit you when it hits you, and if you don't capitalize on it, it's your fault. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're in the middle of like saving someone's life. And it's just like I can't really think about that cool screenplay for Nick Cage right now.
Right, yeah.
like yes, it would be badass if he stole like the Statue of Liberty, sure, but like not now, not now, not now.
Yeah.
And yes, he could do it. Yeah, it's like, sir, his carotid artery is bleeding. yeah, hold on. I need a co-star. Like it was like, nah.
Well, with comedy especially, you constantly have to write things because it's all about experiences in life and ideas, and so I just make a note in my phone.
I once read a thing about like, at least with stand-up, it's like all comedy is observational comedy. It's like
true.
Like all of it is still based off of something you've observed or experienced.
Yeah.
That you then translate in Neil, or Bob, or like you put your spin, your flavor on whatever that observation or experience is, and then that's what the people like, because most of
relatable.
It's relatable, and then like you got it. Like it's still also storytelling, right? Like even if you're more of like a setup punch kind of comic, like you're still weaving a narrative, and audiences dig that stuff, man.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I like sketch comedy a lot. Because you get to create just a little baby story,
right? Yeah.
Because you got to have that premise, right? You got to have that relatable premise that, like, you don't state that premise, but the audience is like,
Yeah, it's like live short films.
Yeah. It really is. Just a little amuse bouche, little hors d'oeuvre of.
Now, do most of your sketch shows? Do you guys pre-write those, or are they all improv? Or?
Yeah. So for the sketch group that I'm in, it's me and 3 other guys. I think at least one of which you've had on the show, AJ Schrader.
Yeah, AJ and his brother Al.
Yeah. And then this guy John Chenoweth.
It's funny too. One of my first film projects when I started acting was with you guys.
Oh, that's right. It
was that 48-hour.
It was the 48-hour because we needed you to be a super wealthy evil billionaire. Who stole that statue? Because that was
funny.
That was when I played that blind guy.
Yeah.
I remember that. That was a fun day.
It was fun. Yeah,
that was a real fun day.
Yeah.
With the sketch group, it's more like SNL, right? Like pre-written,
right?
Short little sketches, and then improv. I do improv with all those guys and a bunch of other people, like Jenny and Steve, who've been on the show. I've done a little improv with Eric Trundy before. God, they're all such funny people, man. Like I am.
Oh yeah.
I wake up most days being like, man, I'm lucky, like that I just like got hooked up with this group.
Yeah. I feel the same way, man. Like the Idiot Box is such a great place for comedy.
And now that they got the bottle shop too.
Oh no, yeah.
Like
awesome.
the festival this year is going to be, as the children say, it's going to be lit family.
Yeah.
My friend Mikey does that. He takes little abbreviations, but he'll say them fully. It's so simple, but it just gets me every time. He'll just say, "Oh yes, that is illuminated family." And instead of saying like "got my ass," like I got
nice play on words.
Yeah, instead of like "got my ass," he says, they have obtained my ass."
That's clever. Yeah, that's funny.
Anyway,
I like that.
Stuff with words is gonna get me. It's gonna get me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, words are everything. Communication. So,
Yep.
What else do you have coming up?
Couple of things. The sketch group. We've got a big thing coming up. Don't want to give away too much because we're still working on some stuff behind the scenes. But we've got some cool announcements coming soon. some
Nice.
shows announced now that things are opening back up
Yeah.
a lot more, and some plans for the festival. I'm gonna do in the festival in September. I'm gonna do like my solo show, and I'm gonna do at least a set with the sketch group, but my AJ and then this other guy. I think you maybe met him at the Idiot Box. I don't know, but Rankin Willard. He does improv.
The name's familiar.
Yeah, another one of the funniest humans on the planet. Like, he's one of those. He's one of those guys that's quiet, but like everything he says is like, if you miss it, you can miss it, but if you catch it, it's just devastatingly funny.
Oh, that's cool.
But the three of us for the past year and a half have been working on a play. This is what I said when I said earlier. Trying to write a TV show is hard. It's a play, like, so it's a live, theatrical play, but it's a 2-act comedy, and it's like the first act are the first 3 episodes of a sitcom. The second act are like the last 3 episodes of a season. So it's like a
nice.
play that's like one small season of a workplace sitcom.
That's cool.
And we set it in a craft store, and it's called Craft Store the Sitcom the Play. And
nice.
Kind of in the same vein of like a superstore, that kind of workplace,
Yeah.
The Office kind of thing. But we're not doing like the confessionals like The Office
yeah.
or Parks and Rec does. But and we've been working on it, like I said, for like a year and a half, and we're gonna try to do some fun things with that coming up, like maybe a live performance or two. We'll definitely get a virtual performance. AJ also, apart from being a brilliant writer and comedian, a tech wizard, and has now outfitted the Idiot Box to do some pretty good live streaming of stuff.
Nice.
So
how long is it going to be?
it's like a full it would be like a full 2-hour play.
Nice.
You go to a nice play for an evening of theater, with an intermission, right? And so act 1 is like episodes 1, 2, and 3. And we call the first part pilot,
nice.
It's written as though it's a sitcom. You're watching it on a screen.
You're binging a series.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and that was the idea. That was the idea that Rankin had. He was like, what if we did a play that's basically like you're binging an entire season of a show? Yeah. And it's like, I guess British style. So it's like 6 episodes for a season, really brief.
Really cool.
Yeah. You just need like the original British Office. I don't know if you've ever watched the original.
I've seen it. Yeah.
It's something. It really did change things. Like that whole style, like that had been just in films, the mockumentary style. And then Ricky Gervais was like, why not TV? And the world was like, yes, please.
Well, actually, a lot of the shorter content things are doing well now.
Yeah. And again, that's how, like we were talking, that's how it's built. That's how things are designed now. Like YouTube, like TikTok, back when Vine was a thing. I miss Vine so much. But it's like just snippets.
Yeah, like 5-6 minute episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I dig it. Web series. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can binge, and it's not a big deal to binge something like that, like a series that takes an hour to watch.
Right, exactly. So I got that coming up. I'm also working on. I'm finally. I know this is so cliche. I hate it. Like I'm saying it in my head, and I'm just like, I'm writing a novel. Are you writing that novel? How's that novel coming, bub? Yeah, I have been working on it for like 10 years. It's very stereotypical. But now that I'm freelancing, one of my big decisions in choosing to freelance is I was like, I'm finishing this damn thing. I'm doing it. And even if it goes absolutely nowhere, which it probably won't, I got to do it.
You never know.
Yeah, and that's true. And that's the thing. Like, you miss 100% of the shots you never take, Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott, right? It's, if I don't do it, then it's definitely never going to be anything.
Yeah, Ready Player One was Ernest Cline's first novel.
Yeah, and
it's incredible.
Well, and every once in a while, like I get in my head, and I'm just like, you're almost 40. If you don't have your first novel yet, what do you? And I have to stop myself and remind myself that, like, one of my favorite actors of all time, Alan Rickman. I mean, R.I.P. But he didn't get into act. Like Die Hard was his first feature film. And he was 42. You know what I mean? There's no such thing as too late. There's no such thing.
Especially in this
It's a
industry.
mindset.
Yeah.
It's a mindset that where you trick yourself into thinking, you trick yourself into being not lazy, but into you're scared.
It's fear.
It's fear.
100%. Yeah.
Fear of failure. And failure sucks. Failure sucks.
And there's
hard,
certain
but
things that maybe like to be a musician, you really need to start young.
Yeah,
But in acting, it's different. I mean, you're a human being. You're just being a human being in a different scenario.
And and also like you're a human being just at a different stage,
right?
Than the one you're playing.
Yeah,
and that's it.
Yeah.
And with all of this increase of need in digital content, like this is one of the best times I think to be an actor.
100%. Yeah, and that's
or at least like like one that's like on the grind. Like
yes.
like I need exposure, I need jobs, I need credits.
Well, the good thing is there's so
it.
many people. So
Yeah.
there's we could never produce enough content for everyone to consume it. So like you're always going to have people to consume your content if it's good.
Yeah.
So there's never going to be a shortage of viewers.
And to anybody who's thinking like, do I really want to put my content out there? It's like, yeah, there's someone out there who wants to see your content. Yeah. Guaranteed. Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
As long as it's legal. Although the illegal stuff is people like that too, I guess. But that's on the dark web. No.
But it's true though. Like there's a lot of opportunity for performers now.
Yeah. Absolutely.
In the entertainment industry. And also, I think the COVID thing actually opened up a lot of doors for independent stuff.
Oh yeah. And people realizing that like the gig economy is no longer just like a phase.
Right.
Like this is here to stay.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean like that's what I'm doing right now.
It is, it is hard to produce something, but it's also a lot easier than it used to be.
Yeah.
I've seen decent things produced on cell phones.
Yeah, you need a decent camera. One of the things that AJ has been talking about in his evolution of technology and how he uses it to create his art and stuff like that. He's like, for live performance stuff, for like filming live performance stuff, or just filming anything really. He's like, yeah, visual is good, but like you can make something look great with a just halfway decent camera. Like it's sound. Sound is it's
really important.
That's the thing that is like, and it's cool that's still the thing that people are really consuming more than the visual.
Right.
Like, because if you can't hear it, or it's not as good audio quality as it could be. Yeah, it's a turnoff. It's a huge turnoff.
I'd rather watch a grainy film with good audio than a great 8K film with terrible audio.
100 times out of 100.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can't hear the story.
You can't hear the story, and God, if the audio track is off,
it that's horrible.
It's like I might as well be watching static. Like I might as well be watching no, turn it off.
It's just awful, yeah.
Oh God, and if the audio track is off by just a split second,
you'll notice it.
You'll notice it.
Yeah, I worked on this terrible film. One of my first projects I worked on, and it was like
most first projects usually.
And the audio was like it was slightly off, and I was like, "Oh, that's terrible! Like, how did they edit this?"
And it's like, yeah, if it's like an 8K film, it's like, God, it looks amazing, but it doesn't matter how good it looks.
Yeah, actually, it looked. The video quality was decent.
Yeah,
but the audio was just jacked.
Sound, man, that's the thing. And like when you're doing stuff,
and the sound wasn't bad.
Right.
It was just off sync.
Right.
That's such an easy thing.
I know,
fix.
Right?
It's so easy.
Right.
Why didn't they do that?
It's like it's like the reason why we have fix it in post. Like that's the reason why that exists. It's just like sync up your audio. First things first, and make sure the audio. Like that should be like bullet item number 1 on.
Well, it probably is, but
an editor's list is like, all right, is the audio okay? Yeah, man.
But you just do those jobs just to get experience.
Exactly. Yeah. You get credits, man.
You don't really want people to know you did it.
well, and networking too, because like I bet you weren't the only person who was like on the film and recognized as like, oh, this isn't a great film. There were probably other people who are like also on the grinds like you, who then maybe like a year or two down the road, all of a sudden they're in a project and they're like, oh, Neil, you got to come do this one. This one's legit. You know what I mean? Like the networking, God, it's
all networking, right?
Yeah. Like, and that is like the first rule I've realized freelancing, man. So much more value in just like getting out there.
Well, because you get a lot of your business from referrals now.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like
Yeah.
that in acting, entertainment. It's all the same thing.
Yeah, and I got like from one like creative collaborative network I was working with. They referred me to working for a brand, a furniture brand.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, right now I'm swimming in freelance because furniture market's happening.
Oh, okay.
And like all of the companies are like, we need copywriters.
That's good.
Please make our stuff sound cool. Please find 50 different ways to say luxurious pillow. And I have. Thank you, thesaurus.com. But like,
Well, good thing about that work too is it just makes you a better writer.
oh yeah, it does. Yeah, writing about things that you're not passionate about,
Yeah.
but you're still happy to do because, and that's really what it was. That's really what it is. I'm fine writing about these things that I could not care less about. Like you couldn't pay me to care about decorative pillows. You could not pay
Right,
me enough.
yeah.
I mean, I guess that's literally what they're doing right now is paying me to care about decorative pillows. But like,
Well, they're paying you to make them sound good.
exactly. And like, I am so happy doing it because I'm doing it on my own time with my own rules about how I do it, how I approach it, and all those things. I don't have management.
Yeah, there's not some creative director saying, "Oh, I'll do it this way," or "I don't
Yeah.
like that," or
yeah.
change this.
Exactly. I'm dealing just with the client and, I know how to PR, because again, attention-seeking extrovert. I'm good at people. Sometimes. Maybe too good sometimes. It's like, oh, they turned out to be a murderer. Oops. But yeah, it's just been so cool to like be in-house with a brand and to get to work directly on something like that and to get to see that side of things like just straight from client side,
Right, yeah.
without going through all the channels you would in an agency or something like that.
Yeah, sure.
So I dig it, man. But yeah, because the way that I'm living my like professional life right now, I'm like, yeah, I'll write about whatever. Gimme.
Yeah, just working that muscle.
New
Yeah.
challenge, man. Yeah.
Cool.
If I have to go research, Antigua end tables, I'll do it. I will do it. I will research the crap out of them.
So back to your craft, acting and writing. What got you into acting and writing and improv?
Oh man, being born the way I was. My mom, we lost her back in 2019, but she was very different than me. And we lost my dad when I was really young, and my brother and I are 9 years apart. So he went off to college and I was still just a little kid,
Wow.
And so it was just me and mom in the house. And I had always been like a little, spotlights hugger, hogger ham, much to my mom's chagrin, because she was about as like introverted and reserved as possible. And like my brother is kind of the same way. So I am the black sheep of that. But I had always loved, performing, and I did a school play here or there, but it wasn't really until high school that I started getting cast in musicals.
Okay.
I'm not a good singer. I'm okay. But like, in a musical, like you can get away with,
Right.
It's not like I'm a singer in a band.
Sometimes you're like talk singing.
Yeah. And a lot of the roles that I wanted, like a lot more of like the comic relief roles, they didn't really have the big heartfelt solo that needed to be on key,
Right, yeah,
that needed to be on pitch. Like, it's like, oh no, this is basically, like you said, the speaky rap song. Like, I can do that. I can do that all tight. But started getting into that, and then that led me to do more like, like straight plays, like just theatrical plays. And I got a little taste of it and improv before I left high school. And then I got to college, and I went to college thinking I was pre-med. I'm going to go be a doctor, because doctors are well respected and they make money. And, that seems cool. Not like I wanted to be one,
Yeah.
So, but I got to college, and I was like, well, I really love this acting thing. I'm going to keep this going. So I auditioned for the fall play, got cast, bit role, but like whatever, got cast. It was Our Town. I had as stereotypical a start in theater as you could possibly have. Oh yeah, you played the constable in Our Town? Yeah, sure did. had 5 lines, and I had to say them all like I was cast in Fargo. Yeah, oh sure, there. Yeah, oh no, Grover's Corner, sure. It's a tough place to keep watch over, and I loved it. I loved it, even though it was Our Town, and you like gouge my eyes out before I ever have to watch Our Town again. I just don't care for that. But I loved it, and I loved the environment, and I loved the people, and all of it. Like just being in a play, being in a production, and that's more what it was. Is it like I had done acting before, but this really felt like this was the first production I was a part of. That like. For 2-3 months, we all work on this thing, and we all work on it because it was a university theater. So like, you as a participant, you do everything. You do a little bit of everything, so you get that general experience. Yeah. So like, you spend if you're acting, all actors, we didn't have makeup artists. We had to learn how to do our own stage makeup. So we would have these like mini classes. If you were cast in a show and you hadn't taken like stage makeup before, you didn't know really a lot about it. There were these like mini sessions that the costume and makeup designer would hold to like teach actors, how to do just basic stage makeup. Now, if there was something like some sort of like, crazy makeup piece they were going for in the play, no, you didn't have to do that. They would have an artist do that. But like, basics. Like I had to learn how to do like, I had to go buy the kit myself, and I had to apply it all myself, and like it looked bad the first few times, but I got used to it, and that's a skill set I have, and it's not something that I use all the time, but I'm really glad that I learned how to do that. I didn't go into makeup, I didn't go into creature effects or anything like that, but I technically started that journey. And I could pick it up again because I have that basic skill set. Yeah. And I just loved that I was getting all of that.
So did you change your
degree? By the end of freshman year, I dropped pre-med, I dropped bio, dropped my advisor, and just went and lived in the theater for the next 3.5 years. And became a theater major. And nice. Like I pivoted right then and there. And I did, in college, I did like the college improv troupe and did as much performance as I possibly could. All the main stage shows, I'd audition.
Where did you go to school at?
Furman University, like upstate South Carolina.
Okay.
In Greenville.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Small private liberal arts school, but like, and the theater department was small, like, and we were not like well funded. We were not one of the best funded departments on campus because we were tiny and didn't have a lot of majors. My senior year, our major only had 24 people in it total. Wow. Like freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, total. Whoa. And my senior class, we had half of them. There were 12 of us. There were a lot of us in our senior class. But like, so, it was really small and like really kind of unassuming, except that it had like these decades of putting on just really solid, good theater. And that's what I got exposed to, was just really solid, good theater.
Well, that makes sense. It's not a big jump going from theater to sketch and improv.
No, not at all. Yeah. And like I said, I was doing the college improv troupe the whole time too. And so then I went to, I like started to like lean more towards actually going into academia, like going into academics. And I went to get my master's in England. For a year, I studied Shakespeare in Stratford-upon-Avon, which was pretty cool. Boss. Like that was, I call that my Harry Potter year, my Hogwarts year, because like technically I went to school and technically I did schoolwork, but there was a pub right across the street from the school, and like I played, like it was just one of those magical years where it's like I think I worked. I produced a master's thesis, so I definitely did something. But it just felt like a magical year. But I still, but like there was this like the school I went to had this like long-standing tradition of a student-run performance group, because like we were all there, reading all the books and studying all the books, but like it was like a literature program. It wasn't a theater program, so like there wasn't like an established production thing, But a decade or two before I got there, a bunch of students got together and made like a student-run performance group, because pretty much everybody that went there to study the literature side of things, of the theatrical world, the Shakespeare world, we all still performed. We still had performance. We had all done performance, and some of us were like directors and things like that, or actors. And so I was able to like I did 3 productions the year that I was there.
Wow.
We did like a little improv thing, and then I moved here and got hooked up with the Idiot Box, and I mean, that's it, you know.
Nice.
That's what she wrote right there, and no turning back. And there have been several moments in my existence here in Greensboro, in our fair Gate City. I love that. I've always loved that nickname of Greensboro, the Gate City.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Badass nickname. Anyway, I feel like we should just change it. Let's just be Gate City. But like, yeah, it is better. Yeah. But like, there've been all these like big life defining moments, because like I've been here for 17 years. It's like majority of my adult life.
Right.
There have been all these moments where it's like, here's an opportunity to leave Greensboro, go pursue something somewhere else, whether it's like, you know, a relationship or a job or a new school adventure or something like that. But every time I've been like, nah, this is good. Like,
yeah. Well, the world's so connected now too. You tour a lot, right? With
yeah.
So.
And I'm really excited. Like, that was something I had just started doing with my solo show before the pandemic. I was taking my solo show to festivals and stuff like that, and I had gotten all this momentum and had all these festivals lined up, and then
yeah,
I was like, so I'm really itching to get back to that.
Well, it'll come back strong, I think.
Oh yeah. No, the first few comedy festivals of the new world, like, we're gonna need police escorts. Like, it's gonna get rowdy. Like, everyone's like, think about it. Comedians, a bunch of attention seekers who are like haven't been around people for a year and a half. It's gonna be absurd.
And a bunch of people that are craving entertainment.
Yeah. And then the public, right, that hasn't been to see live entertainment in a year and a half.
Easy to please.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
The improv show we did like the other night, like, it was good. You know, like it but improv wise could have been better, you know, I
could hear the people laughing outside when I walked into the bar next door.
We were rusty, and like all of us, like it was me, Steve, Jenny, and AJ. So it was like, you know, like, man, a team that I am happy to perform with any day of the week.
Right.
Like, people who've just been doing this forever, and I think are the funniest people on the planet. And you know, but like, we hadn't done it in a year, so like we were messing up, you know, like, and we were forgetting things, and oh man, it was kind of a mess. But we've all been performing for the better part of 2 decades each, so we can make a mess at least entertaining, you know, and man, it didn't matter though. That crowd was there to just have a good time for once.
That's awesome. Yeah.
You know, and you know, like, everybody in the crowd was wearing masks, and they were seated far apart. And most people, the crowd, they were talking about like everybody was vaccinated and everything already. So like, it felt as close as I think you can feel to how it was. Yeah. And it was nice to get all of that, because that crowd was just.
And once the crowds are normal and everyone's packed in there again, it's going to be really good.
Yeah, we could have just read the phone book in like a Jason Statham accent, and they would have, hey, Aronson, you know, coming for you, you know, like, and they would have just.
I would laugh at that.
Right. Yeah. Or do a little Jessica Fletcher from Murder, She Wrote, Aronson, you know, like, it didn't matter. The audience would just be all about it.
They just want to be entertained.
Yeah, they just want something, and I think, like, I mean, people love watching TV and film, but I also think people are like tired of that just being the only source of entertainment.
Right. Yeah.
It's like Netflix is great, Disney Plus is awesome, Mighty Ducks Game Changers. Have I watched it multiple times? Yes.
Also, people are so used to watching stuff at home now. I think when the theaters, I don't know if the theaters are going to do as well as they used to. I think they may be more into live entertainment.
I hope, man. Like, I hope. Well, I think also it's a great opportunity for, like, you know, like regional theaters, equity houses, you know, these long-standing theaters that have been in these cities for decades and decades and decades. I hope they do pivot to start including some more like virtual type experiences. I got a buddy who he teaches theater, is a guy that I went to college with, like my best friend, and he teaches theater at Lehigh University in Pennsylvania, right? And you know, this whole year they've been like, what do we do about our performance? Like, what do we do about our shows? Like, we're a theater department. We can't not have shows. We can't do live shows. Like, we're cram a bunch of people into a small space. but like we still have to do shows. That's what we do. That's
Yeah.
the whole point of this, is that we do theater. And so he got together with, he's another like tech savvy wizard, and he got together with a couple of the other professors, and they created this like live virtual escape room theatrical experience
Oh, okay.
that they're launching now. That
With
they're
VR
launching.
or?
Not fully VR, but I think they're thinking about like we want to incorporate that at some
Okay.
point. It's like you're on a Zoom call and you've got like 8 different callers in there,
Yeah.
but each caller is like a different room to go visit
Oh,
and to
okay.
watch a live piece of theater unfold in that room. And as the audience, you can leave whenever you want and go to another one. And like they're all telling one big story, but it's in different locations,
Okay.
And as the audience member, you can just walk around wherever you want to and just get, what's going on in this part of the story. A famous group does this in New York, and they, I don't know if you heard, that's called Sleep No More. And it's basically the story of Macbeth, but
Okay.
it's in this like I'm probably gonna get a lot of details wrong because I've never done it. I've only heard it secondhand, but it's like in this like 3-story building, and as an audience member, it's like in a 3D space. You're walking around as an audience member, and you go to these different rooms where different parts of the plot of Macbeth are unfolding.
Oh,
So like in one room, you're seeing him, stab the king.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
murder the king, and then in the other room you're seeing his generals, like talking about the war and
Right.
stuff like, so you're like getting it all kind of at once. It's immersive.
Yeah.
And he kind of like just based on that, my friend just based on that, he's just like, yeah, we can do this. Like we've got the means to
technology
do
to do it,
this.
yeah.
So let's just do theater 3.0,
Yeah.
And it's cool to see that, and I hope a lot of spaces start to do that.
Interesting. Yeah.
Things like that.
What's up, dude?
Hey,
Welcome.
Made it.
man. I'm like not a big fan of excuses. I get them all the time from staff and everybody else, and I usually just I got to tell you, and I should have looked, but when he booked it, I added it to my calendar in Nevada. So and I added it.
Where were you, Vegas?
Yeah, in Vegas.
Yeah.
I added it for 11 a.m. My phone. So when I landed in North Carolina, didn't pay attention.
Oh, your phone was still on Mountain Time or Western?
No, it switched it on my calendar. So
It booked it for.
it booked
Mountain-
it for
or-
11.
Mountain or East
I think it's
Pacific. It is
time.
Pacific
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't pay attention. So last night when always the night before, I look at the next day to go, okay,
Yeah.
because I've got a lot going on, and I hate being late. I hate being late. It's a pet peeve of mine. But I was like, okay, what do I got tomorrow? And I was like, oh, the podcast doesn't start till 2 because the front shot of your calendar just shows
The time.
It had your name.
Yeah.
It had podcast, YouTube, etc., and it said 2 p.m. And I was like, oh, I'm good. I got plenty of time.
I can sleep in a little bit. I can get.
Oh man,
yeah.
I slept till like 8:40. I got up. I was at the bank at 9. I got my
Nice.
coffee. Like I was cruising.
You're
I got-
checking things off your
I got.
list.
I was. I had the convert. I'll take the convertible today. I was
Ooh.
riding. It's not sunny, but it's not.
It's not hot, so it's nice.
it's
Yeah.
amazing. I even did a couple of laps like around the neighborhood. I was
You're like, I got time.
I got time. I was enjoying it. I had a 10-minute conversation with the barista. I was like, oh, this is awesome. I get on the road, still not thinking anything's wrong, right? And I've got the top down. He calls me. I was like, oh, I sent him a message. Hey, the top's down. I'm here. He goes, you on your way? And I was like, I had an eerie feeling. I was like, wait a second. Uh-oh. I got several hours. Why is he asking me if I'm on my way? And sure enough, I sent him I look at my calendar, and I'm like, it says 2 o'clock. And I think I even said, doesn't start at 2. And then I click on it, and it opens up. And when it opens up, it says, it's got 2 different things, and they basically show mountain time. And then if you look at the notes, it says 11 a.m. Like I have it written in there. I copy and pasted his message. It says 11 a.m. And then I thought about it. I was like, what the hell? And it has a little asterisk. I think it said PDT. It has a little asterisk.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it says PDT. So what happened
That'll
is
do it.
because I booked it there at 11 a.m., when I got to North Carolina, 11 a.m. in Nevada is 2 p.m. here.
It's a terrible option.
It is.
Yeah.
I've not had that happen before.
That is.
And I did it a week ago. So, I think Friday, maybe.
Well, you book all your stuff in Google Calendars, though, right?
I do.
Yeah. I use reminders,
Yeah.
so it's not as.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm sure there's a setting I don't know. I've never had it happen before. And I was like, so I'm sending him screenshots. I'm like,
listen,
I'm like, fuck me.
you could ask all of my friends. You can ask all of my friends, all of the people that I perform with, everybody who knows me, that it's very fitting that someone is late to my episode of the podcast because I'm usually. And as I was about 15 minutes late.
yeah,
I was here at 11:15.
I like it. That makes me not look as
right.
feel
Exactly.
as
It's
bad.
not as bad. Yeah. Everyone calls it. You were just on what everyone calls Bob time. You were
Yeah.
just on Bob time.
Yeah.
It's like you're a little bit. It's very European. It's like 11ish.
Yeah.
No, 11 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah, around that. Yeah.
11, 15.
11:15.
Yeah.
Oh, you kept talking after I stopped talking. I see what happened. You kept talking after I left the room. Right. All right. Yeah.
But no, and I'll tell you, a lot of the industries and things that we're in and tech support, and because things are we have things that are out west, a lot of businesses and clients. And over the years, I've just gotten acclimated to. I just don't buy into you got to be up at 4:30 every morning to be productive, because at the end of the day, I've got the same 24 hours everybody else has got. It's my choice how I use those, right?
Yeah.
So historically, I mean, I didn't get to bed till 5 a.m. this morning.
Nice.
Right? Like that's common for me.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5 o'clock.
Yep.
I have been trying to work on it, but
It's hard.
it's real.
It's hard to break those routines.
No, it is.
Like, especially when sleep's involved.
I
Well,
was
if you're
doing-
naturally a night person too.
Yeah.
Which I am.
I am too.
And
Yeah.
But I've had to force myself to be a morning person.
Oh,
God.
Thankfully, I dictate my schedule somewhat. So the other thing here is I've got a 2-hour ride in the morning to get here.
Right.
So to get here at 11, I still have to leave at 9, which means I got to be up at 8.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you do that backtrack. Like,
Yeah. So but
that was one of the best skills I learned in the theater.
Oh, yeah?
Honestly, was how to back schedule.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, the thing is due here or opening nights here.
You're right.
That means by here I need to have this. By here I need to have,
Now what's crazy is you have no idea how many people don't know how to do that.
I know. I'm like, that's one of those skills you gotta learn. Like,
Yeah.
if you want to be anything, if you
Yeah.
want to be a thing,
Yeah.
if you want to be a thing, doesn't matter what that thing is, but if you want to be a thing, you gotta organize like that.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah.
God.
I agree. Time slotting. I mean, like I've got a couple of guys that over the years I've talked and I'm like, you got to schedule backwards, and they're like, what? And I'm like, and you go step by step.
Go to your calendar.
Yeah.
Boop, boop. Reverse outline. Reverse
Exactly.
outline.
Reverse outline. That's
Yep,
it.
Yep. You gotta do it.
But yeah. So yeah, I dropped the ball today.
Oh, you're fine.
I felt terrible. I was like, but I'll be honest with you. I'm feeling mellow today.
All right.
It might have been what I partook in last night. But I'm feeling very mellow, and I was just like, besides the fuck me that I sent you, like, my bad. That's kind of like my version. That's kind of like my version of my bad, dude. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, kind
yeah.
of deal. Besides that, I was just like, you know what? I'm not gonna speed. I'm gonna leave the top down. I'm
just feeling it.
I'm
vibing. You were vibing.
Yeah, I'm just gonna vibe on the way. I'm gonna keep sipping on this coffee that's a little cold, and I'm just gonna get there. And I was like, hey, it's nothing I can do about it now.
I will say, when it comes to substances, one of my favorite, I'm not a smoker. I don't do it. But every once in a while, like, I go down to Charleston a lot because my mom's house is still down there, and my brother and I own it now, and we're trying to, we're cleaning it out slowly and surely.
Yeah.
But so I'm on the road a lot these days, and there is something about a day like today, with top down, window rolled down. You got a coffee and you got one cigarette. Like, there's just something about that comment, and whatever is playing on the radio or whatever is playing on like your phone or whatever, like the vibe is just like, that feeling is just like, it's one of those bliss feelings, man.
No, it is. There's a couple of songs in history that reference that feeling,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know why. The first one that came to my mind, which is not the right one, but the first one that came to my mind was "Bitch, Don't Kill My Vibe." I don't know if you know that song, but
I mean, the song title kind of says it all, doesn't it?
but it's literally like "Don't Kill My," and it's really mellow, but it's basically that same thing. And I felt that you get in that flow state, that vibe,
The flow, yeah.
the flow of it, and I don't know, man.
That hit me the other day with like an idea for a new like teleplay, for a new like TV screenplay, and it was just one of those things where like all of the synapses were just like boop. There was something about like the physical environment outside. I was in Winston, this was Tuesday. Weather was like perfect.
Yeah.
Tuesday, it was like 80. sunny. Like that is, but there was a breeze. That breeze is crucial.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
breeze, like
100%.
Like if the sun's out, cool, but I need a breeze.
Yeah.
100%.
And I was vibing. There may have also been some things involved that increased said vibe. And I was just reading this sci-fi book I'm digging right now, and like so all the things were like hitting at once, and it was just like
Inspiration.
idea.
Yeah.
And I always carry around a little notebook. Always have my phone. I whipped it out. Like I wasted no time because the number of times that I've wasted time and then forgotten the thing.
Oh, yeah. If you don't write it down, it's gone.
No, I hate that too, by the way.
God.
I absolutely hate it. If
horrible.
I've got like this thing and I'm like literally somebody's talking to me, they're calling me, they're this, and I'm just like trying to tell everybody in my mind, I'm like, you guys all need to shut up. I've got to get this
What we
thing
talked about
down.
earlier.
Yeah. Or you know what else? You know what else will fucking happen that is just like the worst is like you forget the idea and you know you forgot it and
Yeah.
you're like but then you convince yourself like if it wasn't worth remembering or was it, and you talk yourself out of your critical fuck up, and then a year later you see your idea in a commercial and you're like, that's what it was, and it's like and like the world is like, I'll make you remember it. And I'll show you the guy who's making
The
money
money.
off of
That's
it now.
right.
Like,
That's why I don't believe it.
because you slept
Yeah.
on it.
I don't believe any ideas are really unique. I think they're all compilations of thousands or millions
Collective
of other
consciousness,
Ideas.
yeah.
Collective ideas.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you're thinking about it, I'm 100% certain that someone else is thinking about it too.
You better do it.
You got to be quick with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody can think about it. Few do something about it.
Yeah.
And like that.
Absolutely.
And sometimes there's just certain people that are good at articulating ideas too.
Yeah, we hate
Yeah.
them. They suck.
I got in a flow state yesterday. It was the craziest thing. And I was just cranking. Actually, every day this week. And I'm just cranking on the phone.
Love it.
Attorney. I'm just everything. And finally last night I was in my office a couple buildings over, and I was like, I haven't eaten. Mm-hmm. Anything.
I forgot to eat.
I forgot
Oh,
to
yeah.
eat.
Yeah.
And, and,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Oh, those
okay.
are the best times.
Yeah, I was like, I was like, what time is it? And I'm looking, I'm like, oh shit.
I've been doing this for how many hours?
Yeah.
And I didn't even
I know.
realize it.
I know. But I love that
That's
when
the
that
shit.
happens.
That's the shit. Yeah.
Like when my I don't know if that's I don't know what happened. When that happens,
Yeah.
like I'm like, when I realize it's happened, I'm thankful. I'm like, you know what?
And also then when you satisfy that hunger with that next meal, you're just like, I am a god. You know, like you're like I know I am unstoppable.
There might have been a what's it called? This is gonna bother me now. It's white chocolate, but a Valhalla white chocolate strawberry cheesecake.
All right, you have my attention.
Yes, there might have been one of those. That was part of my reward, which is why I'm feeling so mellow today, I think.
I think so. Yeah, that's what did it.
Yeah.
Strawberry cheesecake. That'll do it.
Well, it's
Sorry,
you
white
have to look at
chocolate.
it. It's Valhalla white. That's the brand.
Right.
White chocolate strawberry cheesecake.
That is.
Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, it hit the spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then I decided I got in this weird place, and I continued the productivity in a different way, but till like 4 or 5 o'clock this morning. It was ridiculous. It was awesome though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I jammed down. Well, okay. Here's one thing when you're vibing, and you do remember to write your ideas down, but maybe you're vibing a little too much and you forget where you wrote them down.
Oh, damn.
Because like sometimes it's like I got to write this down now. The only thing I have available is like the back of this brochure or like
The mail.
something.
I
You're
put
like-
all my
you're
notes
like-
in my phone.
and you're
now.
just like scribble. Yeah, I've started to default
Yeah.
to that now because like I'll do that and then I'll put that envelope.
I've written on the back of his checks before and had to have them recut.
Oh yes.
One of our staff members brought me his check, and I was on the phone, I was talking, I didn't notice, and they set it down, and I needed
You're like,
something to
"What?"
write, and I literally flipped his check over and started writing on his check, and then it was like 10 or 15 minutes before I figured out what the hell I did, and I literally had to have the check recut.
Yeah, I was gonna say accounting's like this is no longer legal tender.
yeah.
you have invalidated this money for this man.
But yeah, I've definitely done that.
Yeah, you gotta like you said, just do it in your phone.
Yep.
Like just make that the
Yeah.
default.
Yep.
Like, but there is something about that visceral feeling of like handwriting something. You know,
I
like,
write like shit though, so it's it's not the same for me.
that was one thing that I guess I just like natural. I don't like this sounds like a humble brag, but it's on penmanship, so like who gives a shit? Like, but like
Yeah.
I've always had decent handwriting, and I guess I was just taught well, and I don't really remember it. Like my cursive teacher in 2nd grade must have been just like the best or something.
I grip the pen too hard. I write in cursive.
Yeah,
but I just don't like to hand. And I think I'm a little dyslexic, so it's
that makes it hard.
yeah. I can type really well.
Yeah.
But for notes, I just do like a voice recording in my notes.
I think you may have been the one telling me, but it may not have been. Something about that they teach men and women to write at the wrong times, because women, they teach them at the same time when actually men, they're not supposed to do it for a few years later. Like to
Interesting.
Yeah, supposedly
Like that development of the brain.
Yeah.
men's what is it called? Our God, what is the term? It's
Not dexterity.
motor
function.
Motor function develops
manual
later.
dexterity, motor function.
Yeah. So it develops later in men. So when they teach you in 2nd grade, it's really too early. That's why a lot of men write really bad.
That makes sense.
But if you see guys that have been in penmanship classes later on, like 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, they usually write really good.
They start to interesting.
I've got my own version of shorthand forming. I'm serious. Like what's going on is I have like this massive thought, and I talk way too much.
Guilty.
Yeah. So it's a paragraph, right? And what ends up happening is I'm really busy, and it's like key points. Neil, this, that, and then a scribble. Got to be there at 3 o'clock. Very important. Like, and it's like pieces of a thought.
You're like a court stenographer. You're writing like abbreviations in shorthand to like
and it's turning into like my own version of shorthand, and people are like, what does that say? And I'm like
don't worry about it.
It's like, this is for me.
Yeah. You can decipher it.
Yeah. There's actually a word for like penmanship that is like either stunted or like there's like a something that makes the person unable to actually write well. It's called dysgraphia.
Oh, okay.
Which is pretty cool. It's just one of those things. It's like one of those things that like a full adult could just have a gap in. And it's not that they never learned. It's just that part of the function doesn't work as well with them as it does with other people. So like, it's like, do they all then just become doctors? Is that like, it's like, but I did read something recently which made a lot of sense. When like there's like a cultural stereotype, like, all doctors' handwriting is garbage or whatever, something like that,
right.
And, like you learn it and not like a stupid, like racial stereotype or anything like that, but like with certain jobs or with certain things that it's like, it's not really offensive. It's just a thing or for some reason. And I started learning about like maybe why that is, like, because it is like my doctor's handwriting is illegible. Like I'll get the script and I'm like, I'm glad the pharmacist can read this because this could be for just like straight heroin, and I don't know, and I'm going to jail. Like I don't know, but it's because it's a time thing. It's a time-saving thing. It's because like doctors are so busy all the time, and they're literally like their day is like each minute is booked. You know what I mean? They don't have gaps, and so like handwriting is just one of those things that they just can't take time to do. And so they do the shorthand or they do.
It's
like
extremely
a
inefficient. If
my,
we're being
my
honest.
issue with my issue with handwriting is I grip the pen too hard.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's like I'm using the wrong muscles to write.
Right.
But I can draw really well.
Interesting.
I really enjoy drawing or art, like painting and stuff. But for some reason, like when I write, and I can write decently fast, but it wears me out.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look good either. It's like
You're just used to gripping something much larger, so when you get to a pen, it just...
No, I'm convinced several of my like girlfriends in the past have stayed with me longer than they should have, only because of my handwriting. They're like, but if you write me another letter,
no, I do write my wife's cards. I always
good man.
Right.
It's a good man right there. That handwriting, it's important. It's special.
Yeah.
I do one special thing for the kids, the nephews, the nieces, Jessica. I will write in like my tag from like when I was 13, where I learned how to tag and block letters and all. I can do that.
Yeah.
Everything else looks like shit.
Yeah, I can still do that Stewie S thing that I learned in like sixth grade. That looks like a diamond.
Yeah.
Like I could still do that from
three
scratch.
lines,
three lines,
and then
diagonal,
yeah.
roof it,
Yeah.
tuck it.
Did you ever do the multiple layers?
Oh, dude. Oh no, I had chains. God, that's probably why I can't do taxes, because during personal finance in 12th grade, that's like all I did.
That's
was
hilarious.
Just draw. Because I couldn't have been bothered to be interested about personal finance when I was 17. I should have, but because my God, now I have to pay a CPA because I'm just like I can't.
I think
you should pay a CPA anyway.
You should definitely pay a CPA.
Because it is kind of bullshit that the federal government's like we could do your taxes for you very easily. We just push a few buttons in our computers, but now it's more fun if you do it. Don't mess up,
Right?
Or you'll go to jail. It's a ridiculous to me. But I guess that gives CPAs.
I think
business.
I was thinking about this though. I think our education system is off. Period. But
Sure.
I also was thinking about how this second career. I don't know what the proper terminology is, but if we're talking about tax mitigation or these types of things, teenagers are not interested in that.
Yeah.
Right?
No, they're not.
They're not. So we should have a whole different recruiting that's taking place. Maybe it's at 25, maybe it's at 30. I'm not sure the age bracket yet where they start, and they need to market to a different age bracket and go. And it should be for jobs like that where they're not suited for somebody that's a teenager to start learning how to do.
I feel like before you receive your first regular paycheck, I'm not talking like a summer job or like a work study job when you're in college or whatever, where you're split focused, but when it's like your first job that you have, before you get that first paycheck, you should know. You should be able to look at the paycheck and understand what all the things are.
What the deductions are.
All the deductions are,
Yeah.
why they're there, why they're important,
Yeah.
And also what power and rights that gives you. You know what I mean? Like look into what your money is doing and is buying and how it's accruing. Like it's so important because like we were talking earlier, there are all of these other currencies that our society should put more stock in.
Yeah.
But for the time being, at least, capital is still the current through all of it.
Right, yeah.
So you should know at least basically what's going on.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
The fundamentals, at least.
Yeah.
It is a little bit of a rabbit hole because you figure out, so what, you've got this broad category of where the funding goes.
Yeah.
And then that broad category usually will come down to be very specific about these, not organizations, but let's say it's Medicaid, right? The funding going to Medicaid or Social Security or these things. And then, but you start looking into it and you start looking at the broken systems and they're antiquated and you start getting frustrated. That's the problem. So when I started looking into it, like, wait a second. I remember I think I was 14. The first time I actually got a hard check, and I was doing the math. I was like, okay, I think it's been so long. It was Napoli's Pizza,
Nice.
Randolph Mall. Robert owned it, and I started the day I turned 14. And I remember getting my first check, and I think it was supposed to be like $186 or something like that, right? And I remember it was like $103.
You're like, wait a minute.
I was like, where's
that $83?
I felt robbed.
Yeah, where's my $83?
I remember arguing with my parents about it. I was like, this is.
Yeah.
I was a little graphic. I was like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
It's like, where's the rest of my money? And that was my first at 14. That's where I learned. I'm like, what the shit? I'm like, why does
what you think you're owed and then what you actually get, those are going to be different for the rest of your life.
Well, basically what happens is the government ends up in partnership with anything you do.
True.
Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly it.
And they get paid first. They get paid before you.
Yeah.
As long as you're an employee.
Yeah.
Yeah, not if you're self-employed, though.
Yeah.
This is
sort of.
These types of discoveries. True.
Yeah.
These types of discoveries further contributed to me wanting to be self-employed.
Agreed. Agreed. No, and I was telling Neil earlier that back in July I was laid off. I had a 9-to-5 regular gig in an ad agency as a copywriter and editor, and I got laid off due to COVID. They were just like, we got to eliminate your position. We don't have money for it anymore. So I was forced to start freelancing because got to eat.
Yeah.
But now that I'm 2/3 of a year into freelancing, I'm like, if you can manage it, this is the way to do it.
I agree.
just, I know like it's so kind of like old hat at this point talking about be your own boss, but it's true. Like that feeling of agency, getting that back is just getting agency back over the hours in your day.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I agree.
That's better than any paycheck I've ever gotten.
I agree.
That's better than it and I've gotten some good ones, but like, God, that time, you know, and it's like, okay, I have these 3 things that I have to do for freelancing today. I've got project A, project B, project C. Let me look. All right. I've got, 18, 16 waking hours, what else do I want to do in the day? Let me fill in those things first, and then it's like, all right, this can fit here, this can fit here, this can fit here. And it's before 9 a.m., it's after 5 p.m. It doesn't matter.
Yep, that's right.
God, there's no reason why the arbitrary 9 to 5, 8 to 5 exists.
No, I agree.
It's just like, it's daylight. That's it.
That's right. That's right. I agree. I can't stand it. So like for me,
I love working on stuff at 11 p.m.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I was hard at it at 2, like 3 o'clock this morning. I was in my emails. I was setting up. I was like, everybody in the world that decides that they want to, wake up first thing in the morning and they want to hit the ground running. That's fine. They woke up to a whole lot of things for me to do.
Exactly. Well, no.
And responses from me, and so they woke up and they're like, "Oh man, he's on it."
Well, and that's what it is. It's like the early people are picking up what the late people last did, and it's like, and that's
it comes full circle. But what I ended up doing with mine, and over the last few months, definitely last 6 months, I've definitely gotten making sure I'm making time for myself to do things I enjoy. But there's a tremendous amount of flexibility, right? And at the end of the day, I am accountable to my partners. I'm accountable to my employees on some level, right?
Sure.
I'm accountable to my client base, my customers. But honestly, though, at the end of the day, there's a lot of things that I get to dictate. And if I wanted to start my day at 12 every day, I could. Or if I wanted to say, hey, I'm going to wake up and instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, I don't do this, but I'm going to go do hot yoga and I'm going to go do this and I'm going to go hike and I'm going to do these things and then I'm going to work for this period and then I'm going to go do something. I could do that.
Yeah. And that feels great. Like during the pandemic last summer, I was dating someone at the time, and she was more of an early riser. Like
Is this why you tried to switch to early?
Part of the reason, but also part was like this was soon after I had been laid off, and I was like, okay, at least for a while, I need to hit the grind a little earlier.
Yeah.
Than my normal, because I need to get back to a place where I can feel confident about. If I want to sleep till 10, I can. Yeah. Because I stayed up till 3 or something like that. You know what I mean? But for a while, I need to maximize more time so I can. And so it's that. And then also, like, she would work out in the mornings. I started adding that just by I was just like, let me try working out in the morning, see what that does. And it has fundamentally changed my life because I've always had trouble with sleep, like my whole life. Doesn't matter. Like I've got like some low-level anxiety, stuff like that, bunch of different reasons. Sleep and I love sleep, but we've never been tight, And so like even on mornings where I woke up after a real shitty night of sleep, like just, waking up every hour, spiraling, that kind of doom spiral. It's like, oh, if I fall asleep now, I can get this amount. If I fall asleep, that kind of watching the clock. Even that, I know that if I still just go do 30 minutes of cardio, strength training, whatever, before I do anything else, the day is going to be okay.
Yep.
It's not going to be great, but it's going to be okay. And like, that's been a lifesaver.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I started trying to be healthier and work out, and February 12th of last year, I started we'll just call it a lifestyle change. And then by the summer, I actually added in consistently working out as part of that lifestyle change. Yep. I started hiking and doing other things earlier, definitely diet changes. But over the summer, I added consistently in the gym. It made a big difference.
And like for becoming like less of a person, it really is like 90% diet.
Yep.
Like that hit me like a ton of bricks.
Somebody told me one time, and I was like, "That's perfect sense." They said you can't outwork a bad diet.
No, you can't. You really can't. Like no matter how hard you try.
Yep.
And then when you think about like, an Olympic athlete like Michael Phelps, who, he had to eat 12,000 calories a day, but that was because that was out of necessity to survive.
Yeah.
Because he was burning 15,000 a day, like that was like, it wasn't that like, oh, because I swim a ton, I can eat 3 pizzas.
Yeah.
No. He had to eat 3 pizzas to not pass out, like, because his body was burning so much. Like, that's different for us normies.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
So there was this whole thing, and I kind of made a joke about it. I thought it was funny, but where he got, I don't know if it is alleged or whatnot, but he was smoking weed, right?
Yeah.
And I was joking.
I assume every Olympian does.
100%.
You have to.
That's pain mitigation.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Their bodies are just destroyed
Just trash.
by the time they're 30.
But see, it's funny that
They
that's
have to smoke weed.
That's got the negative connotation. But if they were taking pain pills, it'd be, obviously they're taking
Obviously,
pain pills.
obviously they're taking Oxy. Why would you not? My brother, he's an attorney, and he's working for the Attorney General of Virginia and on the opioid epidemic. And like the 50 state lawsuit, it is every state in this country. Every state.
Yep.
Every single one is in on this, being like, parts of our population and in our economy were ravaged by like Vicodin, Percocet, Oxy.
Oh, yeah.
Especially Oxy. It's Oxy's
100%.
the one.
Oxy's big.
That was the one.
We call it hillbilly heroin.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
oh my God, West Virginia.
Yeah.
That state is like 30 years behind now.
Yep.
The rest of the country because of that. Like those poor people, like they were just ravaged.
Rocked.
Pennsylvania too.
Yep.
Like I got a bunch of friends who live in Pennsylvania, and they're just like, oh, out in the country here, it's like everybody's on it.
Yep.
You're just on it.
Yep.
Because you got sold the narrative.
Yep. No, I agree. But so that was my thing. I was like, well, one, pain management, but then the joke side of me was like, man, he's burning all those calories.
Yeah.
He's not that hungry. He's got to smoke to get hungry so that he can keep up, man.
Yeah.
Like, this is part of his training routine. I was like, you guys leave him alone.
Leave him alone.
He's an Olympic athlete because of this routine. Like, if anything, it should motivate you to try it.
Crows in the ground. Like,
Exactly.
Just calm down.
It's a plant.
Yeah. Also, like the reason why it's as criminalized as it is so racist. Like,
Yeah,
you
this
know what I
is
mean?
true. Yeah.
Like that. I mean, that is the history.
100%.
It's that and the rope industry. Man, that was a
Paper.
weird,
What's his name? Mills?
Yep.
Yeah.
The pulp. Like
Yeah.
it was just like let's use rope. Why? Because I said so.
Yep.
But hemp's stronger. Make it illegal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I feel like this is, we deal with this in several states now currently. When someone doesn't want competition or someone dislikes something, it's really interesting to see how our criminal justice system is used to criminalize something to discourage a behavior or competition.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy.
And because so many of the prisons are privately run, those prison administrators are like, hell yeah, we're in.
Yeah, 100%.
That you fill our coffers, we'll we'll
It's big money.
Yeah.
They make more money per prisoner than they do per adult in a nursing home.
Oh yeah.
And I mean,
And nursing homes are expensive.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
we had my grandma on one for the last few years of her life, and because my grandpa died and she just couldn't live by herself anymore, and it was really sad to do it. But like, I remember my mom talking about how that is a chunk of change.
It is.
And so like prison, kind of same deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're making money off those people.
Yeah.
Yup.
So what kind of good stuff did I miss before I got here?
Man.
Hopefully y'all just got started. It was really boring without
I mean,
me.
we cracked it up wide open. We solved hunger. We solved
yeah?
racism. Yeah.
Just the stuff.
Honestly, 2 white dudes on a podcast, you're gonna solve racism.
I agree. What else could you do other than just solve that?
That's pretty much all we have time to do.
I agree.
No, we talked about just like kind of like how I got into performing and where my artistic passions are.
Yep.
And it's like comedy.
You gonna be at Itty Box tonight?
I might swing by. I don't do a lot of stand up. Like I enjoy it and I can acknowledge it and respect it.
Right.
And also how terrifyingly hard it is.
Right.
Like, good God. Because like with sketch and improv, I love it because you have a team.
Right.
Like if you mess up something or a joke you tried falls flat, you got 2 or 3 other people that are there to like like all right, let's move on to the next joke. Like let's keep going. Let's keep that momentum going. But when you're by yourself and a joke falls flat, woof.
Yeah.
That feeling is like, oh, kill me. I'd rather die than continue my set. Just kill me here. So like stand up is not something, it's not out of like, oh, I just don't care for it. It is something that I've just not found a good rhythm with, where like sketch and improv I feel more natural with.
It's been interesting for me because I went the first time he was graduating from, I guess, a class. Yeah. And so I went and I enjoyed it. And it's been really interesting because I went back. I mean, there was a little break, and then I went back, and then I went back. And then the gaps between me going back got shorter and shorter and shorter. And then somehow over the last like 2 months, it's just I go on Thursday every Thursday. Now, last Thursday I think I was in Colorado. I mean, if I'm out of state, obviously I can't, I can't go. But
or like maybe there's a mic somewhere.
Well, also you tried to buy tickets last week, but they were sold out.
That's right, or 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
because last week I was in Colorado. So 2 weeks ago they were, and I tried to buy them on like Tuesday or Wednesday.
Thursday night shows are selling out a week in advance now.
Yeah. I hit Jenny up. He's like, hey, man, you should probably hit. So I hit Jenny up, and I was like, hey, I tried to go on the website, couldn't get the tickets. Yeah. So I hit Jenny up immediately. I was like, hey, can I reserve X seats? And she's like, I got you. I was like,
Jenny and Steve have
but I enjoy it.
It's risky. It's always risky to open a new business.
Right.
It's also risky to open a new business that's in alcohol sales.
Right.
It is quadruple, quintuple risky to do that during a pandemic.
Right.
When bars can't really be open.
Well, it's not really a bar.
It's a bottle shop too.
Yeah.
But what they've done with it and the way they've creatively used it, man, it's
awesome.
And it is now really starting to pay off.
Yes.
Because and having the 2 locations
it's perfect
for the festival coming up in September, that's gonna change that game.
Yeah.
Because like in years past we've had to, and we're still collaborating with other local performance spaces. We love that. Other venues, because the local network is the most important one. It's the first one you have to set up, right?
Yep.
Got to set up local first before you can even hope to dream about global. So we've got really good relationships, but just having 2 home locations, where you can like they can have during the festival, they can have stand up going here and they can have sketch or improv going here.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or vice versa. And it's just that flexibility is just going to make the festival be that much bigger and better. And man,
and that festival's a pretty big festival too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jenny and we first did it 2018. This is back when we were still in Greensboro. Like we were in like the cinema basement there. We were there for about a year and change, and the first festival we did there. So like real small space, you know what I mean? But we had like other local venues. And then the next year, which was the first year we were in the current space on Green Street, man, it just like the level of work that Jenny and Steve put in that first year. And I mean like Jenny is someone who like when she gets on the grind, you get out of the way. Like it won't stop, and it's going to produce something awesome. When she gets involved with something. So she was like, I want this festival to be like the crown jewel, and a festival, when done right, you want to talk about a money maker. Like for a business, for like an entertainment business, a venue, like festival, that's where it's at. Like that's the, how it's like in like music, it's like the band, the artists, unless they're like Bono, they don't see a lot from record sales because that goes to the company, that goes to Apple, that goes to, like whatever. But and that's why bands go on tour.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's where they make their money.
Right.
It's like they sell out an arena. It's like now we're looking at, we just paid for the next 5 years. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what festivals are like. Like, like for comedy clubs and stuff like that. If it's almost all profit. But the first few years you got to take a loss.
It's got to be good too, though.
Yeah, exactly. And those first few years are going to be a loss. Like they're just going to be a loss, like financially. You just got to like suck that up. But like if you keep at it, it can be the thing.
Yeah.
And this year, especially this year, with having to cancel it last year, and then just what we were talking about people just itching for live entertainment, I think this year's going to be
should be awesome.
I hope y'all are all around it. And,
and
definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I've been following. So I think Nevada is a good pulse for everything, their tourism, their stuff, because a lot of people are going there, right? So I've been in Vegas, I don't know, 5 times this year already, and I went I don't know, 3 times between say June and December of last year.
Sure.
Maybe I've been 6 times this year. I can't remember, but either way, every time I've been, it's at capacity.
Right.
So whatever the capacity is, they're at the door, and they're getting more lax about it now. But they're at the door, like counting, like you can't come in until somebody leaves, right?
Right.
So that tells you there's just this pent up demand, right? Well,
It was like there, that when we were in what's the one in the mountains? What's Harrah's? But what is it?
Oh, Cherokee.
Cherokee. Yeah.
Same thing. Same thing. And so people want
God,
to
I miss
go.
going to casinos.
Oh yeah. And so while I was there this last time, I think we're at like 50%, and we're talking about going to 75, and I'm telling you, it felt almost like old Vegas, right? It felt amazing. And then one of my drivers is telling me that Bieber's they paid some big contracts. So this is what brought this up. You were talking about the bands where they make their money is touring. They paid him some massive amount of money,
Vegas, yeah.
and in June he's got a first live performance that's coming up in June. Well, check this out. It just got announced a couple days ago that June 1, Nevada's going county to county. They can do it, and like 97% of the counties are going 100% occupancy on everything, back to normal basically.
Yeah.
Now they're still going to have masks.
Yeah. Well, and that's like what the improv show was this past week. Like it was still nowhere near like maximum occupancy, but it was still because we were still spacing things apart.
Right.
We had two rows of tables instead of our normal 3.
Right.
But it was, and everybody was masked and 6 feet apart from other tables. But like, it felt like a regular crowd. Like that first improv show I did over the summer.
Well, especially since it's been so long since you've seen.
Yeah.
Just having anybody there.
Right, just having people there, because like the first improv show we did back in the summer, there was like 8 people, like because they were real spread apart, it was like 1 person per table at that point. But now, like, and you just, it like as a performer, as an artist, like you know that you need it in your life, but like anything, you just don't know how much you need it until it's taken away from you.
Right. Yeah.
Like, and just how much of you it comprised, like of your self, your sense of self, that comprises. And like that was the, I got lucky and thanked my lucky stars that I assume avoided catching COVID over the past year and a half, but several people close to me got sick. And
We both got it.
Yeah. It was, like, and I got my vaccines and everything like that. So I feel very lucky. But like over the past year, the biggest struggle for me really has been, trying to stay alive while a disease tries to murder us, but has been like missing that. It was a void.
Well,
it was a straight up absence of something in me,
I think based on the numbers, I think by July we should be done with masks and everything.
Well, and Governor Cooper just said the other day that 40% of eligible adults have gotten the vaccine in North Carolina.
It's more than that, though.
Now it is, and like
if you look at the CDC numbers,
what are they saying?
I'll pull it up real fast.
Yeah, that's all. Like I've also gotten the vibe that like North Carolina's kind of crushed it during this. Like we've done pretty well.
Yeah,
like some states, like Michigan. I got a couple of buddies who live in Michigan, and they're just
so North Carolina has the population. Of North Carolina is 8 million, right?
Right.
So they've distributed 7.7 million doses of the vaccine
in North Carolina.
Yeah,
dang.
5.8 million have received the first dose, and another million have already gotten the second coronavirus.
Right.
So basically, everybody's either.
It's almost everybody.
Yeah. So like excluding.
Now there are a lot of people coming into the state.
Sure.
From neighboring states.
But for us North Carolinians, you know,
but it's basically. I mean, it's got to be
close
90%.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'll tell you. So I took a different approach with COVID. So let's say that there's a guy in my house walking through with a gun and he's looking for me, right? Like I'm kind of the guy that's going to get my gun out and I'm going to go find him.
Sure.
That's kind of my approach to COVID.
It's like I'm not going to stay away from it.
No, like if there's this thing, right? I still have to live my life. So like rather than like try to change my life and avoid it, I was just like, I'm going to face it, and I got to do what I got to do. And
Right,
it still took me 8 months. With that mentality, it still took me 8 months to get it.
Right. But I mean, like, and like, you weren't like doing it recklessly.
No.
You were
I'm just
still
saying-
wearing masks and doing all that stuff, but you were just like, I'm not going to let this thing dictate.
No, I mean, you got to.
It's not going to make me hide. Like that analogy.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hide in my house while there's a dude with a gun.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I'm the, because he'll find me
He's going to find me. Yeah.
eventually.
So I like to be. I guess it's a proactive approach. Like,
yeah.
So like, and I guess, and this is not a really good analogy, but like for me, it was like, if I have a risk of death when I do a lot of things, right? Like jumping out of a plane, I risk death. Flying out of a plane, sleeping, because people fall out of the bed and they hit their head and they die. It happens.
Driving is one of the most dangerous things we do.
Driving,
Yeah.
helicopters, four-wheelers, boats, cars. Like I mean, I've got risk of death in every single thing that I do.
Yeah.
If I sat and thought about
Eating in a restaurant.
eating in a restaurant.
Get sick. Like
Yeah,
one foodborne illness is all it takes.
Yeah, buying groceries though. People stuff happens.
Yeah.
Right. So like for me, I don't sit and think about all those things. I'm just like, listen, I've got to live my life. I've got to do these things. So maybe I can take steps to mitigate risk.
Yeah.
Right. But at the same point, I've got to live. And that's I think the biggest part that I differ on is where in a ring, if I'm a fighter, it's protect yourself at all times. Right. Like that was what we're always taught growing up. So like keep your guard up at all times. Protect yourself because you could get punched at any time. Life can hit you at any time. So keep your guard
And
up.
it will.
Right. So like
It's a
for
guarantee.
me, it is. So
Yeah.
like for me, it's like I just try to keep that mentality in everything that I do. Like be aware of what the risk is, but you gotta keep your guard up, but stay in the ring.
Yeah.
Well, I think
right.
we'll look back and see that maybe we didn't handle it the right way. You know, I think the smart thing, the intelligent thing to do would have been to protect the most susceptible parts of society.
The elderly
people,
Yeah.
the immunocompromised.
immunocompromised
Yeah.
people.
I hate to say this, but all the teenagers that got all that time off, that have no they didn't deserve the break. The elderly deserved the break. That's who should have got. Because let me tell you, how many businesses did you go to that the elderly were working because the teenagers were calling in sick for work?
Well, the elderly needed the break from the teenagers.
Yeah, that's true. I guess.
That's-
Something finally got them off their lawn.
I was I was at Starbucks and I
Stay
remember
6
this.
feet off my lawn.
And
Yeah.
the lady that was working had already worked a career and retired and had been with Starbucks for 11 additional years. I think she was 71 or 72.
Wow.
And she's like, I'm working all the overtime I can. She's like, we can't get our people to come in.
Yeah, my friend's mother, she's in her 70s.
Well, that's
and-
got to do with. I think a lot of that has to do with just the pay rates we talk about.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's almost the incentive to work an entry level job is barely higher than the incentive to just be on unemployment or be on disability
True.
Yeah. Oh, I mean,
or welfare.
unemployment's better than most
Yeah.
hourly jobs. Like
Well, that's true. Even if you're making half that, it's still
Yeah.
better than doing that job.
yeah. I went on unemployment after I got laid off, and it's not a lot, but you know.
Yeah.
Well, for you, you're a professional though, so it's different.
Right.
It's a big pay cut for you.
Yeah, it was a big pay cut for me, but it was I was at least glad, that it was another one of those, thinking about what's my money doing, right?
Yeah,
It was it's the first time, and obviously, every time I drive over a road or a bridge or go into a school, tax dollars at work, but it was one of those first really visceral times in my life where I was like, okay, now I feel like I'm getting something for my taxes. I know I'm always getting things for my taxes, like public work. I know it's constantly working, and that's how we want it to work. In the background, just work, just function. But it was one of those moments where I was like, okay, this is really important. It's good that we have this. And I know DES, it is a cluster of and this year, I can't imagine being I listened to a podcast. It may have been This American Life. It was NPR or something, but they were talking about how just call centers for places for government call centers for government branches and stuff like that. The burnout rate for those poor people during this year has been they are pulling in people off the street to just man the phones for they're like, we'll pay you for 48 hours. We just need the phones covered for 48 hours because they are not stopping ringing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is just constant volume.
I used to be a supervisor in a collection agency a long time ago,
Uh-huh.
and it seems like an easy job, but it's actually a really stressful job.
It's very stressful.
Especially, I was doing collections, so
because the people you're talking to are not.
They're pissed off.
They're not in a good state.
And when you sit there and just have to listen to people cuss at you and yell at you all day, like it didn't really bother me a whole lot. It did some, but it's like I can just kind of just let it roll off.
Brush it off. Yeah.
But a lot of people it would really affect them.
They internalize it.
People would cry and leave and quit, and it was a huge turnover rate because people just can't handle it.
And with the unemployment, people aren't. One of the things that podcast was talking about is like people on the airline aren't like customer service pissed. I mean, some of them are because like I've been on the phone for an hour, like that kind of thing. But like they're like, I'm scared. Yeah. Like the people are terrified, and like that's like anger and fear,
just frustration.
When you're in customer service, those are the two things that you're like, I am not equipped for this. I
broke a phone when I was doing that.
I believe it. I would. Every 10th one, you'd have to bring me a new phone.
I smashed a $200 phone. Like crushed it, man. It's like, I mean,
it's like when you hang up that emphatically. No.
It's like, motherfucker.
Yeah. You're like, supervisor. Yes, I have punched through my phone.
Yeah. I'm gonna need another one.
I'm gonna need a new one.
I was like, I took it to the front, and I was like, hey, I'll need to do one of these, and just take it off my.
I'm gonna need a 5-minute break and a new phone.
And that cigarette and my convertible, please.
Yes. Back to I need my vibe. No.
Well, that was the only incident I ever had at that job, but it was just like I was having a bad day anyway.
Yeah.
I just had back-to-back negative people, and I just lost it.
Man, and like there is nothing more humbling than the immediate destructive aftermath of like a rage.
Oh,
like a Hulk out. I remember.
You feel better though, right?
Yeah.
As long as you don't hurt someone.
Well, that's right.
Well, yeah. But like, just thinking about like breaking objects.
As long as the only casualty is a phone.
Right. Yeah. Objects are fine. Are all well and good until it's an object that like continues to pay you back for destroying it,
or like a family member's urn or something.
Yeah, something invaluable. Obviously, you're like, oh god.
I gotta tell you, and it wasn't a family member's urn.
I just broke grandma. Like, shit.
I broke the window, and I have these massive windows.
Oh
but,
yeah.
Windows are cruel because like for people who have like moments of rage, they're just targets.
That's what it is. I was launching Yetis, literally.
The things that are known for not being destructible, for being indestructible. Yes. You were throwing those at things that are known for being destructible.
Oh yeah, man. And let me tell you, not only one. This is during COVID, by the way. I had a moment. I had a temporary moment. I had went so long without a moment, and I was due. And
I had a good one.
I took some stuff. I took some windows out and some things, and when I calmed down, I was like, no. And then I got reminded of this because the windows were back ordered. So what I ended up with is like 4:00 in the morning. I'm like trying to take cardboard and trying to do all this stuff,
garbage bags over
and just trying to rig it up to where it's something, right? And
so if it rains, I don't destroy this place.
The next day, my contractor, I called him, and he's one of my builders, and he's a good friend of mine, and I'm like, hey man, I had a moment. I just straight up with him. I was like, this is what I did. I said, I know I'm an idiot. Do you have anybody that can come help me? He's like, I'll send one of my guys over. The guy comes over, and he's like, man, what is this? The cardboard.
What did you do?
Yeah, what did you do? So anyway, They do it. They tape it up the right way, and then he tells me the bad news. He's like, "Man, during COVID, everything's back ordered. Anything made with resins back ordered. Anything, and these windows are
they're
custom.
diverting it to make equipment for
exactly.
COVID.
Yeah. So,
well, a lot of the manufacturing plants were closed.
Yeah, that too.
Like
sick.
Ford. Yeah. They converted like 75% of one of their major factory rooms, with floor rooms, into a PPE production facility.
Oh wow!
And then the other 25% was still car stuff. But like,
and they were making a lot of ventilators too, which
because all of
before they realized that ventilators were killing people.
Yeah. Well, we got all these ventilators that are never going to use now.
Yeah. There should never be a shortage on ventilators.
So
hopefully there's never a shortage on.
11 weeks later, so I looked at plastic and heard it when the wind would blow strong enough. I'd hear it in my room for 11 weeks.
Yep.
Until it came in, and then I'm happy to say today it's actually finally fully fixed, painted, everything, all of it.
Awesome.
So you can't see your shame anymore.
I can't, and I got to tell you though,
and it's bulletproof glass.
Yeah.
Yes. And so when you hit it, it'll hit you back.
Yeti proof.
It's Yeti proof. And And I kept the Yeti as a reminder, the Yetis as a reminder. They were a little dinged up, not from the window, but from the concrete on the outside of the window where they hit, and they kind of didn't break them. Just
get
scuffed them a little bit.
Scuff. There was this, like as a performer and as someone who does like sketch comedy, I have at any given time any number of just weird props laying around my house, just like
Rubber
that
chicken.
that I used once for one scene and then never used again. But I still have this thing. And one of them I was the Riddler, from Batman in a roast of Batman, which was a blast to do.
That's cool.
Idiot Box did that. That's so much fun. I do miss roasts. It's just writing zingers to insult your friends. Name me a better time. But I had this like cheap ass plastic cane, because the Riddler's, he's always got like the fancy walking cane. And it was, I bought it from Party City for like $1. It was cheap as shit, you know what I mean? And I had it, and then it was a few months after the roast, and I was rehearsing something else entirely, and I was just having one of those days where like everything was off, and I was just like, I was walking around my apartment rehearsing this bit that I just could not get right, and I ran my shin headlong into like the dishwasher door. It had come just a little down, and like that's
a rough one.
That's pain.
Oh man. And I was walking. I had this cane in my hand. I wasn't using it in the part, but you know how when you like rehearse, sometimes you need like an object to like help with the motor stuff. Anxiety. But then, so I hit my shin, was like let out a litany of swear words that if my mother were still alive would kill her, and then just took the cane and came down on the dishwasher door with the fury of 1,000 suns, and this cane, I've never seen plastic shatter like glass before. And this cane exploded into no fewer than 1,000 pieces. And like an IED just went everywhere in my apartment. Like shrapnel hit everything.
That's funny.
It was plastic, so it didn't do a lot of damage, but it went everywhere. This was 2.5 years ago. I'm still finding pieces.
Did it mess up your dishwasher?
No.
Oh,
no, the dishwasher, it's like stainless steel, so it's just like,
hilarious.
What, bitch? It's like, how's your shin? I was just like, yeah, you're right. Thank you for keeping my dishes clean.
Those are the injuries that make you do stupid things, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like when I was
stubbing your toe,
especially when I was younger, like
spraining a thumb.
I would have probably grabbed the dishwasher and just jerked it out of the
out of
the cabinet.
like go full Arnold on it.
Just go crazy.
Like go full like Total Recall. Your eyeballs are just bulging.
Like start stomping it or something.
Oh yeah. And my favorite is that like when you injure yourself on some sort of immovable object or unstoppable force, one of the two, and you decide to like then use your body again to hurt the thing that hurt you, and then it hurts you again.
Yeah. You just feel like an idiot.
Yeah. It's like
it's like there's no outlet for that anger.
You try to kick something, but you whiff it, or you try to punch and you just your rage blinds you to target, and you just whiff.
And then there's the other part of your mind that's sort of like the passenger, and it's like, hey, you need to calm down.
Hey, real quick.
You're being dumb.
So shut up. The id is talking right now. Fuck out of here, super ego.
I got really upset one time, and I launched. This was 2007 or 8. I remember it's a long time ago. And I launched something at a window, but double pane door to sliding glass door to go in and out of the house. And I launched something at it, and I missed. And not only did I missed the whole fucking house. Yeah. Like I was terrible throw. It was a terrible throw. And my brothers were there, my mother was there, my wife was there. And they all started laughing at me. And I was already highly upset.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. And I walked up. Walked is not the right term, but walked up. And I got to it, and I just went. And I started punching, and I literally just went straight through the double, and it just exploded everywhere. And I went in the house, and I remember I grabbed my TV, and I was like, and I started breaking shit. And about, I don't know, maybe 30 or 40 more seconds later, I went out on the front porch. There's a swinging chair there. I got it, and I'm just sitting there rocking. And about 15 minutes goes by, and I'm just still sitting there rocking, and people start to come check on me, and I've got glass in my hair. I'm cut.
Yeah.
And I'm
bleeding. Yeah.
And now I've calmed down, and I'm like, what a fuck.
It's like a Chevy Chase movie.
Why did I do all
Why
that?
did I do all that? And you know, my mom's go-to thing, she said it to me, you know, in the last year, actually. But back then, one of my mom's go-to things was, she'd be like, well, are you proud of yourself, Daniel?
Yep. Well,
Are you proud of your action? Yeah.
and that's the key word, right? Pride.
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
pride.
Yeah,
Like everyone's like, oh, the planet's gonna blow up in 5 billion years. I'm like, yeah, but humans are in charge.
It's a long time.
We're gonna ruin it long before that. I don't know if you've seen how we do.
I think the
Yeah.
right word is amygdala.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That pride, man, like it'll just get you. And
It's like a little tiny brain inside your, like below the big brain.
right. And back to something we were talking about earlier about like, how boys like, they develop slower. And yeah, that's because testosterone is a garbage hormone. I am glad that I'm glad that if I work out just a little bit, I can get kind of trim. I can lose weight quicker, maybe, because my body is not designed to make other humans. But other than that, it's just you're just gonna want to murder things until you die.
Yeah.
That's what. Oh, cool. Okay, so it's just murder the whole time. Yeah, it's not great.
The good thing is we calm down as we get older.
Luckily,
A little bit, yeah.
I know all these commercials about low T, like, oh, take this drug. I'm like, I welcome low T. I'm like, I want the mellow of yeah, maybe certain other things won't work as well, but at least I won't want to put my hand through glass.
Yeah.
All the time?
Yeah.
It's all the time. It's all the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just it's like, let me check. Yeah, no, I want to do it.
I've got 3 kids, 4, 8, and 10. And I got to tell you,
I was going to say that'll humble you too, from what I've heard.
And I got to tell you, I know my 10-year-old is close. Now listen, they were brought up very different environment than I was brought up.
Sure.
But that being said,
Your 10-year-old's a boy.
yeah, all of them. Yeah, they're all boys.
All boys.
Oh yeah, so I know it's coming. But
Man,
I
your
hope
house is about to smell.
Oh, bro.
Yeah, but they're not gonna.
I'm just worried about when that testosterone hits. I'm not worried about one consequence of the testosterone,
Right.
because I'm a guy. If I had daughters, I would be.
They're
Right.
not as aggressive as you were, though.
They're not. No.
No.
I grew up in an environment that I think some dogs you hit
Right.
and they cower in the corner, and some dogs you hit and they bite you back.
Right.
I was the dog that bit you back.
Right. Like you were not to be trifled with.
No, I just
Yeah.
figured out at an early age. Like if you hit some people, you can tell if somebody's a fighter or not. Like if I hit you, if you've never been hit before and you get hit, that reaction, and most people retreat.
Oh.
Although Isla, my daughter, she's 4. She's got a little bit of that in her.
Oh, my niece.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
fight
I don't
back
think it's
thing.
only. I don't think
Oh,
it's
it's
only
not-
men.
it's not
I
dudes,
definitely
no.
know.
She gets mad at me.
I think it's.
she
Oh,
does.
my
She'll
niece-
shake and
My niece
try to
is.
come at me like, "What are you doing? Calm down."
My niece, she turned 6, or she'll turn 7 in September, and she is fearless. The definition of fearless. I mean, she will just throw her body in harm's way and love it. Cause she's like, come on. She. I love it. And again, sorry for the swearing, but she's got big fuck around and find out energy. As a 6-year-old, she's like, try something.
I love it.
It's
That's
like,
funny.
and she's well aware that she's not going to cause a lot of damage. Doesn't stop her.
That's
No,
good though.
no.
As long as she can harness that, it's
and
very useful.
and my brother was like, let's put you in soccer. And the perfect sport for this 6-year-old girl who is just a tornado of a human.
Oh, yeah.
And she was on the soccer field for the first few days, and she was playing different positions, and nothing really clicked until they put her in goalie. And she's like, yeah, I want things coming at my face all the time that I can just punch and kick and get in the dirt, dive. And
That's funny.
they put her in goal. And this is peewee soccer,
Yeah.
it's not full contact soccer or anything like that. But she's in that goal just
She'll be good.
yeah. And she's loving it, man,
Yeah.
and killing it. And she's just made of energy.
Well, that's Isla's problem. She's highly intelligent. I mean, but she's not very coordinated.
Right.
And so she probably won't play sports.
Right.
You know. So,
Right.
So I feel like she has to be careful of her anger because it could just lead to more
Manif-
frustration.
Yeah, she won't have a competitive sport to like
Right,
get it
yeah.
out, you know, to
Yeah.
like, yeah. But,
Like,
you
go
know,
do some math.
Yeah.
Calm down.
but, you know, maybe she'll go into the arts and she'll channel it that way.
She does love art, which is great.
Channel that
she's very
creativity
creative.
can take care of that rage
She
too.
paints and colors a lot.
Yeah.
So as I
Draws.
was literally like waking up, I'm like, God, okay.
Oh yeah, on the porch swing. Yeah.
No.
Oh, today.
This morning.
Oh,
I'm waking up and I'm like, oh, Daddy's tired. Good morning, boys. Daddy loves you. And they're like looking at me. I'm like, and then I did my thing like, good morning, like loud as I could. Daddy, you know. And they're all like, oh, hey. And then my son Sebastian, he says, I thought you'd appreciate this. He goes, Daddy, what's 62 times 40?
Like,
And I was like, I just woke up, son. Like, and I was like, I was like, can you give me a minute?
Yeah.
But I figured the math thing, that's his. He loves math. I was
That's
like,
funny.
I had to literally think. I was like, all right. And I was like, am I right? And he goes, you're right. I was like, whew.
that's awesome, man. Wow.
So
That's
Yeah.
funny. Yeah, my nephew, her brother he's 9, and he's way more analytical. Like he's a bold kid. Like he plays sports and everything like that. He'll get rough and tumble, but he will like be on the sidelines first, like you guys just said, mathing out all of the different.
Oh, yeah.
Like okay,
Analyzing it,
and
yeah.
like being like, okay, well that guy he runs like this, so I gotta avoid. You know, like he'll just be like a beautiful minding
Smart
it.
kid, yeah.
And then he's like, and go. Whereas
Yeah.
my niece is just like, I'm on the field, let's do it.
She's a
You know?
rhinoceros.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she just jumps right in. She's
awesome.
she got the genetics from my family that I got. That
Yeah.
you know, like the like you like, you know, what is it like what's the thing like don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just do the thing.
yeah.
Just go at it, yeah.
Yeah. She's got that. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Oh, good shit.
Yeah, man.
I don't know how you're operating on 3 hours of sleep, man.
I'm lacking a little
And a different time zone.
bit. And
Like,
different times.
yeah.
And here's what's bad is, this is not one of my prouder things to say, but I'll tell you, I landed at 5:40 a.m. Monday morning. Okay, this week, right? So I did the red eye, which I didn't
Oh,
sleep.
you've been off all week.
I've been off all week, so
Yeah.
I went home. I was like, oh, maybe I'll get it. I can't. It's a Monday, so I got a shower. I got fresh clothes on. I came here, right? And I had 2.5 hours of sleep Monday night, and then about 2.5 hours of sleep last night. So, and then Tuesday, Tuesday night, I think I had like 4 hours of sleep. So like, I'm like batting 1,000 this week for not sleeping.
Dang.
So I definitely,
Your brain needs to heal.
yeah, I like
That's like my friend Aslan, who
I like that name, Aslan.
Yeah, I know.
It's a cool name,
And
yeah.
it's his middle name. His first name's Robert, but why would you not
Why
go
would
by
you-
Aslan?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like I think Robert's a great name, but I get it. If my middle name were Aslan, I'd be going by that too. But my middle name would make me sound like I'm a soap opera douchebag. So Campbell.
Do you want to sound like a human or a god?
Yeah, exactly. There it is. There it is.
What's your friend's name? Aslan.
Aslan, the lion. But he's a music genius. Like he works in the music industry right now. He's in Nashville, and he is like producing and songwriting and playing a little bit for this like really up and coming country
Awesome.
music sensation. Her name's Lainey Wilson. You all got to check her out. She's gonna be the hop on the Lainey Wilson train,
Okay.
man. She's blowing up.
I'm looking it up right
But
now.
anyway, she just dropped her first EP, and it friggin' slaps. It's so good.
Nice.
Actually, it might be an LP. Yeah, it's a full
Wow.
full length album. Actually,
Nice.
now like correct myself there.
Oh yeah.
But he's just been he was a musical prodigy. You know, like he's just got these skills, and like you were saying, like there were periods of his life he just didn't sleep because he was just on the grind too much.
Yeah.
Like he was producing this, he was playing in this band. You know, he was just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't have time for sleep. And he's a big tattoo guy. He loves tattoos, and he's got some really dope work done. But one time he got this leg tattoo done, and I was hanging out with him, and he was on like a 72-hour work bender. Like he hadn't been asleep for almost 3 days at this
He's
point.
insane.
Yeah, and so he was on like, you know, Red Bull, and like
Oh, yeah,
he was on fumes. Like,
Yeah.
you know. And he was like talking to me, and he was talking about how like his leg tattoo like wasn't healing right. He's like, I think maybe the pen they used was like maybe it was like not quite clean enough or something or whatever. And he was just like, and I was like, dude, when was the last time you slept? And he was like, it was like a Thursday. He was like, Sunday? And I was like,
That's why. It's not
that's why
healing.
your body's not healing because
Yeah.
it can't.
His tattoos are probably moving when he looks
Yeah,
at
and he was like,
He's hallucinating.
And he's just like, oh fuck, right. And so that night he got like a decent night's sleep, and sure enough, when he woke up, it had started the healing process. Like,
Yeah, dude.
I'm not going to tonight. I've got a little Thursday routine. I'm going to be at Idiot Box tonight finally for the first time in 3 weeks, I
Nice.
think. Because I was 2 weeks ago, it was sold out, which pissed me off.
Yep.
And
You were
I
out
tried
of
to
town
get
last
it.
week.
And then last week I was out of town, so I'm looking forward to tonight. I'm not going to be sleeping tonight. I've got some plans afterwards.
yeah. So you're going for the week. The
Yeah, I'm going to, and I've been wildly
Do that
productive
full
this
week.
week. I'm just going to knock it out.
Well, you've done it before. So.
I
Yeah.
have.
That was
Yeah.
me. That was me like a week and a half ago. There was a 2-week period where I just had 12 to 14 hours of freelance work to do a day, and
Yeah.
I was like burning it at both ends. And like the past week and a half has been a lot lighter.
Well,
so
Even as a child, like a teenager, a young adult, I'll punish myself. I'll say things like, well, that's what you get. So like I'm going to struggle. At some point today, I'm going to really start to struggle.
yeah,
And I'll be like, hey,
you're
that's
gonna
what you-
feel it. You're gonna
that's-
feel it. Yeah.
And that's
could
what you
always
get. And I
sneak
pay,
off and take a nap or something too.
I could, but then that's rewarding bad behavior. So I'm going to just power through it.
Too hard on yourself, man.
I'm going to power through it, and then tomorrow, after I have all these things tomorrow as well.
You got the crash plan.
Yeah, tomorrow I've got the crash plan. I'm going to bed by like 10 tomorrow night.
Oh, that's good.
And I'm gonna sleep. I like 7 hours with my CPAP.
Yeah.
I'm all Darth Vader and shit. 7 hours with my CPAP, I'm good. But no. Friday night, I'm gonna set it. It's gonna be 9 hours. I'm looking forward to it. It's
Like
I'm
honestly-
talking dirty right now. 9 hours with my
No,
CPAP.
you know what I was I was getting turned on. I was just like,
Yeah.
oh God, 10:30 on a Friday, go to bed. Oh, that sounds so good.
See.
God, like approaching 40, man. That's the thing where I'm just like, oh yeah, baby. Hit
Yeah.
me 9:30. Let's
Yeah.
go to bed.
Let's do it.
Oh yeah, you want to go? You want?
That's my- I hate
You want to
going
go
to
to the
bed.
bedroom? I'm like, no, I want to go to bed.
No, I want to go
Sleep.
My problem is I hate going to bed.
Oh, like the
Like
ritual
the-
of it, or
The later I stay up,
Oh,
the
yeah.
more active my mind
Yeah.
is.
yeah,
I feel like
Especially
I'm,
on creativity.
Don't you feel like you're wasting time?
yeah,
Yeah, I just wish I didn't have to sleep at all.
yeah, right, yeah.
I would just do art
I've
all
read
night.
about-
Arnold
I've
says,
read about this.
sleep faster.
Sleep faster.
There it is. Sleep faster.
Drink more milk. Sleep faster.
If I try to go to bed, like if I have something early the next day and I go to bed early, like 10,
Yeah.
I will lay in the bed awake until 2 a.m.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
been happening to me during the pandemic? That started happening like last summer, where no matter what time I went to bed, I would wake up 4 hours later.
I don't know. Sometimes I can eat a lot of a special snack
Yeah.
Yeah, that helps.
and,
It does help.
and go to sleep pretty quick.
Yep.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a particular, I don't know.
I'd spend about
strain.
an hour.
I'm just going to pull a word out of thin air. It's nothing.
Yeah.
A strain of that
Yes.
snack.
You strain
You know,
something.
like in
Yeah, I pulled my shoulder. Right?
yeah,
I
like
strained my shoulder.
and you end couch. You end up into couch. You know,
And-
into
yeah, for
couch.
some reason.
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
it's
You know, you just pass out,
And then you get into bed and
and you get into bed, and
it's magic.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you get into fun.
I mean, I truly, really just get like after my mom died, like there was a period where I just wasn't sleeping. You
Yeah.
know? And I tried all the things: melatonin,
Oh yeah,
like Tylenol PM, all like meditating, breathing, all of it. Meditating and breathing really do work.
Yeah,
like
that'll help,
like if I do that enough, I'll pass out. But eventually, because my brain will be like, all right, fine, we won't be worried about something.
Yeah.
But then I discovered that, and I was like, it's like the only thing that works.
Oh, it works great.
that's the way I can
The
shut mine off.
melatonin actually works really well too, though.
See, melatonin works for me. It'll work for me for about 2 weeks, but then it'll start giving me wild dreams that I do not care for.
It works almost too good. It makes
Yeah.
me groggy in the morning.
yeah. Like I would get a little of the hangover feeling.
I
and
just
then
started taking it, and
My dreams on melatonin were messed up. Like
Really?
they were like violent. It was weird.
Oh man, see what you don't realize is the melatonin's increasing your testosterone level, and
Damn it!
now you're killing
'Cause you're
people in your
sleeping
sleep.
better.
Damn it,
that's it. Yeah.
man! All right, I guess I'll have more sex.
You just you need to drink a lot of soy milk with it or something.
Yeah. Something to like tamp it down.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
bring in the mellow, man. Bring in the mellow. That's all I want.
Yeah, see, I don't like to take pills or vitamins or anything. So, like for me, and I went through this long period where I didn't talk about it. Jessica finally became okay with it when she realized, like, I calmed down as a person.
That's your wife?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, as I calmed down as a person, I I don't know, like 10 years ago, like it used to be a problem. She'd get really upset about it, and I'm kind of the guy that just doesn't give a shit. I'm gonna do what I want to do, and it's her. I'm an adult. I'm gonna make my decision.
Right.
She's an adult. She has to decide whether she's gonna live with it or not.
Right. Right.
That's the way I've always looked at
And
it.
you're not like doing bad stuff.
No,
you know,
exactly.
you're
Well,
Well,
there was more of a negative connotation a decade ago.
It's all a fake
Yeah.
information in our society.
Yeah.
It's a crazy stigma.
well, 10 years ago, though, it wasn't as accepted as it is today.
right.
Right.
And even 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, because people don't have access to science.
right.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But
but
you can see, like, oh, this is probably one of the safest things you
Yeah.
could ever do.
Right. Right.
That shit's dangerous, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I
No.
agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
There. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. Alcohol is the most dangerous drug on the planet,
yeah.
Easily.
and it still should be legal, but it's just you have to be responsible with it.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree. So she,
Slippery slope.
what helped though was, I went long period after major arguments, and she could just see. And then at this time, it was solely smoking. I'd smoke, and I'd be calm, mellow. I could breathe. I
It
could
actually
focus.
makes
You could-
you like.
Well, I was
really
going to say you could
friendly.
probably.
It makes me very friendly.
I was
gets
gonna say,
really
well,
happy.
you can.
I'm very
you can then
happy.
engage more with what's
100%.
going on,
Yeah.
and not be, you know,
100.
Overreact.
Not go to
it-
60,
It
you know.
takes
Right,
my
yeah.
analytical side down some.
Yeah.
As far as the over, like I
it
mean,
slows down reaction
everything,
stuff.
so-
But
For you, it's a big change.
it is. It's massive.
it has helped
Yeah.
me like that, and
I'll get giggly.
And
somehow,
I-
yeah.
I
I mean,
will-
like literally silly. Like I love it.
I will honestly extol the virtues of also, like, you know, medication, like therapy medication that's good. I've got a sweet cocktail going now of weekly, like, behavioral therapy, like a session
Yeah.
with my counselor, you know, basically Zoloft, and weed. And like together, I just feel,
And a little bit of working out.
oh yeah. Oh yeah, no working. Yeah, exactly. That morning
Yeah.
workout. When you stepped out of the room, I was just talking about, like, more about that morning workout where, like, even
Yeah.
if I sleep like garbage, like, if I work, as long as I work out in the morning, day's going to be okay.
That's good.
Like those endorphins, man. And back to what we were talking about earlier about how, like, diet is more about your, like, size, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I found that exercise is way more about mental health
It is.
than physical health. Like, obviously, you want to keep your muscles and your bones strong, sure. You want to keep them trained. You want to keep them ready, like you said, because you
Yep.
never know.
Yeah, that's right.
You need to be sharp.
Yeah.
But if your
100%.
body's strong, you feel better.
You just feel better.
Yeah.
And then if you feel better, you think
You
better.
can focus more.
You can focus better.
Yeah.
And you're, for lack of a better word, happier.
Yeah, I agree with that.
makes sense,
Serotonin is that's the real deal.
Yeah, I agree.
Serotonin and dopamine, those are the drugs, man.
I agree.
Very
And you telling me my body just makes them?
Yeah.
What?
And that's not against the law.
And it's legal, and I can have them whenever I want.
We're gonna confiscate you, sir.
Yeah, yes, sir.
No more fun.
No wonder
more
dogs
working out.
always smell me. Because I smell like drugs. Yeah, it's the real deal, man.
People just come and lick you.
Yeah, especially now that people are getting their vaccinations. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
let's bring licking back. You know?
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Nah, or not.
All right.
The other day, like with you, this wasn't you, so I felt fine with this because I know you and we're potting and stuff like that. You know, like
Yeah, yeah.
we're vaccinated at this point, but like there was someone that I just didn't know, and they went in for a handshake, and I was like, you know, I was just like, I know this is what you're supposed to do, but after this year, I'm just like, so I went in.
I don't really like shaking people's hands anyway.
Me neither. It's
Yeah.
gross. It's
Yeah.
gross.
I dap up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll dap. I'll
Fist, elbow.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll shake
Yeah,
people's
should-
hands.
yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
guess what part of my body I'm
I'm
not
not a big fan of the elbow.
It's all right. Yeah, but you like, guess what
I mean-
part of my body I'm never putting near my mouth? The back of my hand or my elbow.
Yeah, yeah.
My hand and my fingers, like those go to my
Yeah.
mouth and my face all the time.
With
Yep.
COVID,
This
though,
doesn't-
with COVID, one thing they do know is that you don't get it from surfaces.
Surface,
or
not
Yeah.
yeah,
hands.
it's airborne.
It's
Yeah.
all yes, it's respiratory.
So yeah, you don't need to.
I mean, if you shook somebody's hand and it had particles,
And
like
you licked it, or like shoved it into your nose and inhaled.
and sniffed your hand.
Gave
yeah.
yourself a reverse COVID test.
What's
you know,
the guy that wears people's skin and
Buffalo Bill.
yeah, and he's like, yeah,
Smell the disease.
smell that is COVID.
Yeah, smell the virus.
That's the guy that scratches his ass and sniffs his hand all the time. Though.
Or the guy that like all his groin and he's like, oh,
Yeah, that's a problem.
Well, that's another thing. That's why another
fetish.
thing. Like, how I love it, and like Japanese culture. Let's bring the bow everywhere. Let's just like the bow is so tight. Like as a sign of respect, as a greeting, as a I love you. As
I
like
like handshakes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I like the nod too. I'll just
yeah.
randomly I'll see. I'll be wherever and I'll see
The nod
somebody.
is classic.
You make an eye contact with any dude,
Yeah.
it's just like
What's up?
or
the
one of these.
fist bumps are good. I like
I like
those.
fist
Yeah,
bump.
fist bump.
I did have a moment though the other day. I was driving and I did like this, like to say
the signal. Yeah.
to say thank you for letting me over.
Yeah.
And someone thought I gave them the middle finger.
Oh no!
I didn't.
Right.
And they came up and they were all like giving me the finger
And
and
you're
Ellen. And I'm like, and I'm just like,
Sorry. What did I cut you off?
yeah,
Sorry.
no.
Yeah.
She said you gave me the middle finger. I was like, no, I was saying thank you, like, and I do like this. I was like, thank you.
Yeah, I do the German 3. Yeah.
And is these. But I did like that, and she's like, I thought you gave me. And I'm like, no, ma'am, I
No,
didn't. I'm
promise.
sorry. Yeah. And she was at that point, nice lady. And then I'm sitting here thinking, the other side of me is like, these fucking road rage. Now, all people have road rage, but the ladies kill me. Like, I'm 300 pounds.
I was gonna say like
She's 95 pounds soaking wet coming up next to me. I have a gun on me at all times. I'm a grown ass man. You're gonna come up next to me and
what if you're some crazy person? Yeah.
What if I'm crazy, right? And then she's giving me the finger and cussing at me.
I feel like that. I feel like that's also just like COVID kind of made people Wild West.
Crazy,
That's
yeah.
Like
true,
it's
yeah.
just like everybody's got that energy.
On edge.
Yeah, just like what?
I tell my wife that though. Like you gotta keep in mind that people are still animals.
Oh yeah.
And some people are really dangerous. And
Yeah.
if you get mad at the wrong person, they might kill you.
And you know what?
Or really hurt you.
Speaking of things that make you more like an animal.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, that is at least partially physiologically what alcohol does.
That's true,
Is
yeah.
it reduces your brain functionality down to a more primitive state.
Yeah.
Down to a more
Well, that's
fight or
what-
flight,
that's
just
what-
like gut
100%.
reactionary. That's it.
That's what blackout drunk is. It's your
brain's
cerebellum. Is
yeah,
that, and it completely shuts down.
And your
so
prefrontal cortex is just like
so you have no long term memory at all.
Yeah,
You're
nothing.
just living in the moment
yeah.
until that wears off.
You're just existing.
Yeah.
Did you I hate to get
It's like
morbid.
sleepwalking.
Yeah.
I hate to get morbid,
Yeah.
but you guys remember just recently, last couple of months, the couple there was a camera on the house. Apparently neighbors had been having disputes over the years. The husband and wife were outside. I think they were shoveling. It was over shoveling snow.
Oh yeah.
And the
They're
guys,
neighbors.
he called him a bitch, and he's like, and he came out and he killed him.
Yeah,
killed him all,
just
slow.
graphically. And,
Oh, I
and then
didn't
he
see
says,
that.
and then
Yeah,
he's like,
it's
"Who's the
horrible.
bitch now?" Like, and then the guy went inside and killed himself. But like the thing is, and that's when I use that as an example with Jessica and with others. I'm like, people are fucking crazy. Like, if you want to come at somebody in an aggressive way, you had better be prepared for whatever that outcome
For
might
that
be.
And you don't know
clapback.
what that
For
person's
that
dealing
clapback.
with.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's really what it is.
Yeah.
It's like it's the everybody's got
Stuff, man.
any number of
Man, I don't
personal
care.
battles.
I try to be understanding
Me
with
too. You
everybody.
try to be. Yeah.
Because if someone's really aggressive and angry, it's like, why are they acting
I give
that way?
I try to give them the
Yeah.
benefit of the doubt, and then if they keep at it, I'm like, all right, I guess we do this.
I mean,
know,
sometimes
like,
you have to defend yourself.
you just
or
have to
whatever, but-
defend yourself because
But if you can avoid it, avoid it.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
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 If you can talk it down, yeah,
Yeah, 100%.
or just walk away.
And
Like that's the
so-
biggest strength, right?
Yeah.
It's
Sometimes
just
it's just bipolar.
No,
Sometimes
it
it's
is.
crazy.
You know, a family friend of mine and a mentor of whatnot last night told me something really awesome. He's like, no matter how loud anyone gets, no matter how aggressive the situation, no matter how offended someone gets, he's like, I always speak at the same level tone.
smart.
He's like, I don't show any emotion, and he's like, and he's an old school guy, but he's in industries that are typically like, you know, that have things that cause people to be aggressive, and they're around people, and he's like, I always maintain like that calm, cool level, and he's like, somehow it keeps the other person from being feeling like I'm confrontational.
Right.
He was
You're
telling me
not
this.
feeling it. So, you know, when you're talking to someone, you have mirror neurons that
Yeah.
are they're syncing up with the person you're talking or
Right.
communicating with.
And I thought that was amazing. And maybe it's common sense, but for me, it was nice to hear it again to go, that's a really good point.
And it is kind of a natural, organic thing to synchronize with whatever
Yeah.
the level of
Well, that's
whoever
what
else is
it's
around.
tribalism,
It's
right?
tribalism, right?
Yeah.
So like that guy is basically telling them, if you want to continue this engagement, you have to come down to my level.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Or at
I'm
least
just going to be here the whole time, and you're going to look like an idiot.
or at least you're not escalating it.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're putting a ceiling on things. Like it's only ever going to be this intense.
Well,
and if you raise it above that level,
Oh, it just is competition then.
like that, then it's just
Well, that's how performance art works.
Yeah.
You're controlling the crowd.
Correct.
You're syncing up with these people, and then
Yep.
you're taking them for a ride.
You're taking them for a ride, man.
Yeah.
That's it. You're like hop in. This is going to be a blast. Yeah. We got the top down, and we're
It's
vibing.
like,
That's right.
It's like
That's
magic, right?
It really is.
amazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
and improv. So sketch comedy is my preferred. Wow, preferred form. There it is.
Yeah.
My preferred.
It's faster that
Is that a
way.
new Ford?
Yeah,
Is
it's
the new one?
the pre-Ford.
The pre-Ford.
It hasn't come out yet. It's a prototype. It's the first Ford electric car. Yeah, the pre-Ford. That's my preferred form of comedy, but the most like spine-chillingly euphoric natural high I've ever gotten was from an improv performance where it was like me and my teammates. It was at the Idiot Box. I can still remember it. It was me and Steve and I think either AJ or Jenny, but this was years ago. But like something about the scene, like we all just clicked, and those of us on stage, we got into a rhythm. The crowd was ready to go along with it. We got them involved with it. And just like it started to feel like we were almost outside of ourselves watching it happen.
Yeah, yeah.
Even though we were making it happen impromptu and live, you know, it's like we just went on autopilot. And like it just turned into this like amazing scene. And the crowd went nuts. We were like, what the fuck was that? You know, like that kind of thing.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Whew. There's no substance that can give you a better high
No.
than that.
Yeah.
Nothing.
No.
Yeah, because you're just so synced with.
Like, and it's better than sex. Like, it's better than great sex to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like
It's truly like magic.
it is magic, man.
Yeah.
Because you can't. Because then what I love about improv is that if you then try to recreate that, you'll fail. Like
Yeah.
you have to improv. You just have to let happen, and like. Sometimes it's gonna be bad, and you
Yeah.
just gotta suck it up and just move on, you know, from the bad stuff. And
Well,
do it.
acting's like that too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing. It's you know, if you do all the work and you're really in that moment, it's incredible.
Syncs up. It just syncs up. Yep. Tight.
Cool stuff.
Yeah, man. Well,
it's 2:00, man.
yeah.
Time to start this podcast.
Time to start this podcast.
I just got the notification on my calendar, actually.
Yeah. and look at you. You're early.
I'm here.
You're early.
I rocked it today.
You were
bro.
you're like an hour and a half early.
Now,
man.
let me tell you what
Seriously,
did just happen.
We were just doing the pre-podcast.
Yeah, you are the pre-podcast with the pre-Ford.
Yeah, with the pre-Ford.
Yeah.
But what really just happened is I just gained a couple hours of my day because I was late to
That's
this.
true.
Oh, yeah.
Because right now I'm
That's
thinking that for
true.
the next 2 hours I'm tied up
And guess what?
and I got shit to do. So
You shouldn't tell anyone.
Yeah.
well, what I'm thinking is I'm going to go ahead and the things that I wasn't going to do till after 4 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and knock them out.
Knock 'em out.
And
Yeah.
what I love though
Yeah.
is that I love that somewhere in the back of your brain's going, this motherfucker doesn't know he's about to pass out so hard.
Oh yeah,
I'm about to.
bro. I don't know if you can see it, but I
I'm
can
about
tell.
you look
to. I'm about to drop his ass.
Yeah, my eyes. I'm like because I've been sitting.
Yeah.
This is dangerous.
Oh yeah. Oh right.
And I'm sinking in my chair.
And these are comfy.
Yeah,
these
they are.
comfy.
And I'm sitting up
chairs,
here.
man.
I'm like, I'm
just
like,
gonna hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm getting. If I sit here much longer, you guys are gonna see me over here.
And then and like it starts to do that thing where like your peripheral starts to
Oh,
become
yeah.
blurrier
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah.
blurrier until it's like right in front of you.
when I
Tunnel vision.
Eyes
started
don't
yawning, I was
work
like,
too
oh.
good.
No, they don't.
Bye.
You guys are gonna see me and see. You know, the number one cause of death with people with sleep apnea:
What's that?
falling asleep while they're driving.
Oh.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
I use my
Yeah.
CPAP religiously, so that eliminates that.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, since I haven't been using my CPAP, I've obviously because I've only been sleeping in small windows, so
Right.
I'm using it for smaller windows. Better way to say it.
Right.
Well, what's happening is I can tell, like I
When you're
feel
driving.
I feel moments where I feel like I can fall asleep,
Yeah.
Oh,
which is
scary.
very weird.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I'm sitting here and I'm like, if I wasn't careful, I could go to sleep.
No,
Well,
yeah.
doesn't like right before you fall unconscious, doesn't your body release like a wave of chemicals that like it's like what causes the sleep paralysis? You
I'm
know,
sure
it's
it
like
does.
what it's like what kind of pauses everything.
Oh, yeah,
you
yeah.
know, or brings it down to like minimal function only.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I saw something recently. It was talking about sleep, and it was saying if you stay up so long,
Yeah.
your body will start doing micro sleeps.
Yes.
So you're actually still awake, but you're sleeping.
Yeah.
It's like shutting down certain parts and like keeping others.
But you'll sleep for like a fraction of a second.
Yeah.
Over and over and over again.
And it'll still do minimally what
Yeah.
you need.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And autopilot in my car, I think that I have that happen sometimes. I'm like, oh shit! I almost fell asleep. I think I did fall asleep.
That is how I got. That is how I got my most.
I can't wait until cars are fully autonomous.
I agree.
Yeah, you're just like boop.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or you can write or whatever.
boop. Other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not this.
Let's get some of that white chocolate strawberry cheesecake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There it
I
is.
think I'll do that. Yep.
We'll do that.
Now listen, you said the top down. I got to tell you, there's a couple of versions that came in, but I don't know why. I pictured just now, top down convertible, a lady in a bonnet, cruising like the
Big sunglasses.
big sunglasses,
Yep,
a little
yep.
cigarette.
Yep.
That you know the image I'm
Oh
talking
yeah,
about.
yeah. The Thelma and Louise kind of
That
like,
and then I went. I need to go to California and I need to ride the cliff next to the water.
that's like it's like a '68 Mustang.
Yes,
Right? Like that.
Yes,
car
that
is
one.
Like,
And I just popped into my head. I don't know why.
yeah.
But now I need to go do that.
Drive along.
Yeah.
Instead of the
coast.
cigarette, maybe
Yeah.
a Nicorette gum or something.
Yeah.
I'll roll one.
Or-
along,
No,
or-
I'll roll one.
Or yeah,
Okay.
yeah, a special.
Yeah, I'll roll a special.
a cigar.
Or you
A cigar. Yeah, I'll roll a handmade.
or you eat a nice brownie beforehand. You know
Yeah.
that your friends made for you.
Well, see, I'm fat though, so I try to. I
That's
like,
when the autonomous cars come along.
That's true.
Eat the brownie, do some writing.
Yeah.
Edibles on
About
the
2
road.
hours.
Like watch the road. Like,
Yeah.
oh.
I'm a
Just
pro,
blissful.
a champ with my diet. Like I don't. But now there's one little caveat here. But I consider it medicinal, so it's not food. But the edible. But see, this is what I love about edibles, though. I have very little self control when it comes to food.
Yeah.
With junk food.
Yep.
That's why I just stay away from it, right?
Yep.
But the edibles you can't fuck up because it'll rock you.
Oh yeah.
If you overeat, you get punished bad,
Boy, do you.
right? So like it's real simple.
Boy,
Like 10 milligram, 20 milligram. It would depend on your top. You're good, right?
Yeah.
You're good.
I had.
But that limits. You take one chocolate bar that I used to be able to sit down and eat 3 bars,
Yeah.
right, in one night, and plus a whole bunch of other shit, and I'm eating fractions of a bar. It's perfect. Like the way you keep yourself from overeating
Yeah.
food you shouldn't is making an edible.
I had specialty. I had specialty Chex Mix recently,
Oh yeah.
and that was interesting. So someone did like in the butter.
Yeah.
They just threw it in Chex Mix, and I was like, and like normally with edibles, I'm always like, yeah, it's always something sweet, but I'm like, no, what if we do savory, like or
yeah.
salty, like.
I had some butter on a steak recently. The butter kind of stinks actually.
Yeah,
remember that?
it's male.
But I put it on my steak and I was like, and honestly, it worked.
Yeah,
It worked. It turned out well.
yeah. But really, what it does is it just kind of like flattens and widens everything out. Whatever your experience is, it
Yeah.
just like widens it out. So it,
Really makes you go inward.
I'd love to
yeah,
do
it
a
lasts a little longer, and it might mute some things like in flavors and stuff like that, but it lasts longer.
I would love for it to legalize in
Real
the
long.
state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would love for it to legalize in the state and this state to do something that other states haven't yet. But how about like, and I'm not this guy, but I think this would be a cool date night. How about a cooking class?
Oh, yeah.
Like a date night cooking class where where they teach
Use
you how to do
cannabis
edibles,
and-
cannibals,
yeah,
right?
yep.
Cannibals.
Cannibals.
At the pre-Ford.
Cannibals
the pre-Ford
at the
cannibal.
pre-Ford.
You eat your spouse.
The
Yes,
pre-Ford
and
cannibal.
just her pinky. It's like a chicken wing. But yeah, and you do it. I think that would be like an awesome date night kind of thing,
Oh, that'd be
right? A
dope.
little twist to it.
That'd be dope. I'd love to do that.
Yeah, I think it would be great. So
Sort of like a fondue type thing.
Yeah.
yeah, fondue-esque. Yeah. Now I got to tell you
Except you can't leave.
yeah. So
Yeah, right. Yeah. Then
the-
you gotta wait
no.
4 hours before you can drive home.
the melting pot has got it down pat. By the way, like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with
yeah.
melting
Oh,
pot.
yeah.
But you go in. I don't care that it's expensive, but it's expensive.
Yeah.
They bring you the stuff to cook yourself, and they bring you raw food.
You do all the work,
and you do all the work,
and you eat all the food.
and you eat the food, and then it's like wait a second,
Hold on here.
Wait.
I just paid $30 to do it myself.
and then you overcook it, and who do you get mad at?
Well,
You're the one that did it.
Yeah.
It's like
No
damn.
chef.
I
only
will
a prep
say,
cook.
those like dessert
Oh.
trays there, absurd. Those are.
So I haven't, just so you know, I haven't been to Melting Pot in over a year because of this whole
Same.
lifestyle change. Because I can't go somewhere.
It's too much, man. And it's kind of like, now the one thing I have allowed myself, like I did start building my list of all of the, places where I'm going to go, where I'm going to gorge myself. One of them is Leblon, so the Brazilian steakhouse.
I love that
yes.
place,
Like my buddy Mikey and I.
That's something you can do.
My buddy Mikey and I, we've been doing some like virtual cooking together because we both love cooking, and I've really gotten into it in the pandemic. And he's been cooking for years, and he loves it. Like we both follow Binging with Babish on YouTube. I don't know if you follow that guy; he's awesome.
I don't like cooking, but he loves
Oh
it.
man,
Yeah.
but we were talking. We were like, and Mikey's a gourmand. Like he loves food. He loves working with food, eating food. Doesn't matter. Like he's a foodie, and he's just like, God, the second this thing ends, the second I'm like 2 weeks past my second dose, like we were going to that steakhouse. I'm like, yeah, you know where else we're going? And it's like the opposite side of the.
Where is the steakhouse?
It's on Market.
Yeah, it's here.
And what is it?
LeBlanc.
LeBlanc.
The Brazilian
Chars,
steakhouse. Okay,
Charscaria, or how, I can't
Yeah.
remember how you pronounce that word, but oh man,
Yeah.
Churrascaria.
and then
Hey.
thank you, thank you.
Hey.
My family's from Brazil. So
Oh, there you
Hey.
go. Well, my God, those restaurants are the best. And that is one of those places that it's expensive, but like the bang is so much worth your buck.
is.
Like you get so
Yeah.
much food.
I think we got to do a studio. We're gonna have to go.
An outing.
Yeah, we
you
have
That's
to do
should.
a great idea.
It's worth it.
Sure,
It's so worth
yeah.
it. And then
Yeah, just us. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, us three.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't come. So no,
Darn it.
I'm just playing.
I wasn't talking. I was thinking about a couple other guys we're working with are, I think, vegan maybe. Or vegetarian.
that is
Oh,
not
yeah.
the restaurant for them.
No.
Although that salad bar there.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
That salad bar is dope.
Hey,
And
yeah.
you can just get the salad bar.
Jesse's not
They
a
get
vegan,
the salad.
right?
We're torturing
Yeah.
them with this.
Well, hold on. I
With
got now,
bacon wrap filet.
so I broke some girl's heart the other day. I got to tell you this. All right, so
Bet that happens a lot.
it does. I'm a heartbreaker. Yep.
Yep.
So she says eating meat is cruel.
Okay.
I was like, it's interesting. And she's like, just picture them crying when they die. And I'm like, okay. I said, you know the smell that comes from grass when you cut it, right? I was like, it's a very distinct smell. She says, oh, yeah, I love that smell. I was like, that's actually the grass like screaming. It's a pheromone that's released, and they think. And I said, but if you don't buy that, I was like, do you have plants? And she's like, oh, yeah, I love plants. I was like, do you sing to them? Have you ever heard about singing to them to bring them back to health? She's like, no, that's true. I had a plant that was going to die. She's like, I sang to it every day, and she's like, I even played music for it, and I nursed it back to health. She's like, they're living things, you know. She's like, you've got to treat it that way. I was like, that's interesting. I was like, so you think that singing and speaking and talking to it affects its mood, right, and affects its ability to live, and then you eat it. I was like, I didn't even want to go down the whole we're carnivores, that's what we're supposed to do. But I didn't want to go down that path. I'm just like, well, technically you're eating something living, right? You're consuming something. When you breathe air in, you're actually consuming other organisms, microorganisms, right? Bacteria, other
Well, there's
things.
more stuff in your body that
So I'm just
make up your body than actually the things that make up you individually.
Yeah.
so, and
Gut
then I was
biome and stuff.
And then I was fine afterwards anyway because she said something that solved it for me, and I realized I shouldn't even have went to that level to try and explain myself or to try and play devil's advocate with her. She said something like, "My cat is so smart, except for when I do acid, because she licks my skin and she gets high." And I was like,
What?
I swear to you. And I was like, okay, I got to go.
I don't think you've been around enough people.
Yeah. Luckily, correlation doesn't imply causation.
Right.
'Cause
Yeah.
I know some
Yeah.
pretty wacky omnivores too. But
Yeah.
no.
No.
I just
Very true.
I just love food. Like I could
do too.
easily be a vegetarian because I love all food. So like me cutting things out of my diet wouldn't ultimately affect me except emotionally because I do like the taste of meat.
Well,
You know,
farming,
like-
all farming kills a lot of animals.
oh
yeah.
oh yeah.
Tons.
That's what I say. I could have went to the other side of it. You know?
Yeah.
But
Just
I really don't care what people eat.
yeah.
I mean, like you could.
I think it would be nice to see more humane
treatment.
treatment of animals
Yeah.
for meat.
Just in general.
But I think in a
Yeah.
few years we'll be able to just grow our meat in labs.
Well,
and it'll actually be better.
That's what I was about to say. Let me tell you, Impossible meat. I've cooked with it a little
that's
bit.
not really good for you though.
Like some of it, you gotta like.
It's really high in saturated fat.
Well, and sodium too. Like it's got way more sodium because they're packing in more like
it's like
flavor
a cheap,
things.
It's like a burger, like a not healthy burger.
But I will say that like it is amazing how they match those flavors.
Yeah.
Like the Impossible sausage I've cooked with a little bit, and like once it's cooked and in something, if I just eat a piece of it, I can tell. But when it's in something, like I made this like sage and sausage risotto, and I tried to make, and I made it with Impossible sausage one time. Like I made it with real sausage one time, then I wanted to try it again with Impossible sausage, just see, you know. And
if you notice a difference.
I couldn't tell a single difference. But now, you know, a risotto's got a lot of other flavors going on.
Right, yeah.
It's the thick dish, so
Yeah.
like there's a lot going on. But still, I was just like, damn, that's impressive.
Well, they've got. I'm sure you've seen it. They have meat that they're growing in labs.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be on the market
Synthetic,
last year,
yeah.
but it should be soon. And
Just do that.
It's supposed to be really good.
Yeah, I believe it. And like,
It's just too expensive right now.
right,
Yeah.
because it's in short supply, so it's higher
Yeah.
cost. Yeah,
But eventually that'll just be normal. Yeah. But see, what people don't realize also is like we have such a huge population of livestock and stuff because we eat them.
yeah.
I mean, cows wouldn't even exist if we didn't eat them. They would be bovine, some kind of wild animal. But
Yeah, or they would have been extinct. They don't seem
or
too
they,
smart.
they may be gone extinct. Yeah, possibly.
Like there are some species that we do, you know, keep. I feel like we do keep alive for meat because they're pretty. Like turkeys, they're dumb. Like like turkeys, they'll drown in like 6 inches of water because they'll put their heads down it. Like, you know, like,
Yeah.
all right, well, you deserve that. Like so, like Darwin was right. All right, like about a lot of stuff. Like I
Yeah.
know. Maybe some religious folks won't like that, but like, you know, natural selection is real, man. And it all has to do with how dumb you are.
And the wild is brutal.
Jesus, like, thank God we got out of the food chain.
Yeah.
Because imagine
Yeah.
if we were still apex predators, but we still had to be apex predators. Like we don't have to be them anymore because we
Right,
don't have
yeah.
to do that. We don't have to be a shark, you know.
Yeah.
But like imagine it's like we weren't quite there yet, and like you get out of your office job, you're just 5:15. You know, your boss was on your ass all day. You got your tie, and you're just like, oh God. You get out in the parking lot and it's hot. And then there's a jaguar chasing you. It's like, God damn it! I forgot. We're still in the wild. Oh, and you don't quite make it to your '97 Datsun, and well,
Honestly, we're
That's
lucky
natural
to live.
selection.
We're lucky to live where we do.
yeah.
There's not a whole lot of dangerous animals in this area.
Honestly, in this area, I think the thing you have to look out the
I don't
most
know.
for
That girl last night was pretty dangerous.
Well, humans are always
yeah,
the most
humans are
dangerous.
the most dangerous game. But I also feel like Canadian geese is what we have to worry about most.
I've been chased by those
You want to talk about a
things.
fearless being
Yeah.
that does not know that a giant is there to murder it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't care.
They don't care.
Yeah.
It's like, get away from me.
Well, I don't know if they're Canadian or not, but they like to shit in my yard.
Oh yeah, no,
And
they're
I'm not
they're nasty things. I hate them.
I'm not saying that this is what I would do or that has been done, but you know the airsoft guns that shoot little
I was
pellets
gonna
just
say,
to pop them in the
I was
ass.
gonna say, let's say you've got a 22 in your kitchen right by
Yeah.
the window that you use to keep squirrels away. Well, guess what? My uncle would do that. Now my uncle he's out there, man.
Oh no, I'll pop them in there. And literally when I see them, and I'm like, and I'm sitting here, but not. I mean, like I got.
That's not going to hurt them, though.
No, it doesn't hurt. It's,
Yeah.
it, more so they'll make a noise and then they'll
Go
kind of
away.
They'll kind of look at me sometimes.
And you're like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm like, don't make me fucking come down
It's
there.
like that's what you get if you crap in my.
We
yard.
have
But now if I even just crank the window open,
You're like,
if they hear it, they go.
we have a bunch of kids that live in our neighborhood, like some boys that live across the street.
You shoot
And-
them?
No, but we've only had one occasion where geese started coming down
Yeah.
in our cul-de-sac, but those kids will run them off. They just come out and just chase them away, and they never
Nice.
come back.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that'll do it.
it works.
I sent
really
the
well.
dog out one time after him, but that didn't work very well. I got a little labradoodle, and the geese scared the dog.
Yeah,
Came after him.
Yeah, there was
fearless.
it. He charged them.
yeah.
He got up on them. They kind of swarmed him, and then he took off.
The
And I was
problem
like,
with geese
that's
are
where,
your-
that's
like,
where
"You're a
you
little
think-
bitch."
That's where it's like a big dude. You like think like if there's like a small person, you know, in you know in public whatever, and like you know you're like I could take them, and then for some reason you do get in a fight, and turns out they're like a black belt, and it's like that's what a Canadian goose is. It's like,
yeah.
by the way, I will destroy you. I may not look like it, but
Yeah.
I will end you.
They're vicious. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, dude, it's been a pleasure
This is
having
awesome,
you on, man.
Thank you so much.
was
Thanks
fun.
thanks for letting me talk.
Yeah, our pleasure.
This is dope.
How can people follow you on social media?
Yeah, I'm Bob Beshere on Facebook, and I'm like I know you'll tag on there, but then on Instagram I'm it's God, my name. It's so stupid. You know how when you first get like social media or email handles at the time, you're like, yeah, this is professional enough and this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And 5 years later, you're like, God, why didn't I just do my name? Just do your name. Just do your name. I have a unique name. It's not going to get taken. You know, it's not like Bob Smith. It's Bob Beshere. It's a weird last name. Like, so my Instagram is Bigelow_Bobolo, which was the first name of a character I used in a tabletop RPG. So, ladies. And then on Twitter, my comedy account is at Magic Private School. So one night, while on a special influence from things, I just got like really mad at J.K. Rowling for being a dirty transphobe. And I just created this account where I just like made fun of Harry Potter. Like, who's that hurting? No one. She's a billionaire. She doesn't care. But I just started doing it, and I've kept it up. And so I've gotten I've gotten a decent following on there now.
Funny.
That's good.
Not from content.
But you can see your name on there too, right?
Yeah.
I was trying. You said it's Bigelow.
Yeah, BIGILO_BOBBOLO.
Bigelow Bobolo.
Yeah, it's not even consistent. Like, I don't know why I did it. I was 14. Yeah, good call. Use a name you thought was cool at 14. Dude.
I get you now.
Cool, sweet.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but I'm on there, and also I'll Idiot Box
Yeah, follow Idiot Box.
for all comedy things.
Yep.
Follow Idiot Box, Next Door Bottle Shop, and then like I said, my sketch group in a couple of weeks we're gonna be dropping something new.
And what's the name of the sketch group?
Well, that's kind of part of the
okay.
new thing. We're
Gotcha.
we're not ready to drop it, but like
Change it.
we're kind of rebranding a little
Okay,
bit,
cool.
and so
Awesome.
we got a new name, new kind of mission objective with stuff.
I just want to
also.
ask. It's not pre-Ford, is it?
It's not pre-Ford. It's not pre-Ford.
I didn't know that was a
Campbell.
Freudian slip earlier.
No.
you know?
Oh, shit. Although pre-Ford, see, that is there's a fun game we'll sometimes play called like with an improv group name. It's like we see it and it's like, okay, improv name or ska band, like which one? It could be both. It could be both.
That's funny.
Yeah, like old timey jazz singer or baseball player, like old chunky Doogie Smith. That could be either an old jazz
Could be.
musician or like a baseball player who played for the Dodgers in the 90s. You know,
Could
like
be, yeah.
Old chunky Doogie.
Or the 60s.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, those are the places.
Awesome. Cool.
Awesome.
And thank you so much, guys. This was awesome.
our
I love the
pleasure, man.
podcast. Yeah,
Apologies for
thank
being
you.
late again.
don't worry about it. Yeah.
And guys, if you enjoyed the episode, be sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Please. God, I'm such a genius. Right when you were looking at the